there's not the monotonous Groot. There's just it's just Groot. But back to Thor. So yeah, he was created a pretty long time ago now.
Yep. And one thing I want to get into here, some interesting stuff I learned about that. You know, Jack Kirby said in an interview, I'm sorry, I'm about to misquote. Stan Lee said in an interview that he thinks at the time, you know, they were really searching for some quality heroes, and they were asking themselves, well, what kind of hero can be better than a man? The only answer that they could think of at the time was a god. And so, because people were really getting into the Roman and Greek gods, it actually quotes on their page that they really wanted to go into the Nordic gods, the Norse badasses, and really say, oh, let's get into these guys. Thus, Thor was chosen to headline that.
Live right now.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense when you think from that perspective, especially at this time. We're really looking at kind of the golden age of comics.
Get started.
Because when I think about the golden age, I don't think about, way back to our Batmans, or our Supermans, or our Wonder Womans. I think the '60s, man, when the comic boom really hit.
Yeah. When good stuff was written.
Oh yeah. And a lot of cool, unique stories being created, and Thor is no exception. So let's kind of talk about Thor's origin as a character for a bit.
Actually, one more thing I wanted to mention, if you don't mind. Yeah. So I'm kind of glad that they filtered out a few things that Thor was a god of, because if you know the Nordic, faith at all, he actually originates from some weird stuff, man. For instance, not only is he the god of both thunder and lightning, yes, those are different, but also, strength, oak trees, hallowing, fertility, and of course, as we know from the cinematic universe, he is also titled the Protector of Mankind. So, that's a lot of stuff. He's in charge of those oak trees, man. That's just all him right there.
So if you live in an area and there's no oak trees, you need to make sure that you make, penance with the mighty Thor, because obviously you're not doing something right because the mighty Thor is not giving you your oak trees.
Damn straight.
One thing that people don't think about when they think about Thor is this little guy by the name of Donald Blake.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, want to tell us a little bit about Blake?
Well, as far as I know from my notes, I actually don't have anything written down tonight about Donald Blake. However, what I do think I know, and please correct me, Donald Blake was the young man that Thor was basically punished by Odin to become whenever he said, okay, look, you need to be able to know mortality, okay? You're basically an overpompous piece of shit right now, and you need some humility in your life. And so you're going to be this human who basically, if I remember correctly, was, he had some kind of handicap,
he was handicapped.
Yeah. And so he really basically was a struggling human being who didn't have it going together. And maybe you can help me tell this next part, but he was basically attacked by some aliens, I want to say, in his origin of the Marvel comic series.
That I believe he actually was.
Yeah.
We'll go back and look exactly see who it was. But yeah, he was attacked.
Like
now hey,
that was some original writing back in the day.
Original writing, and it's funny. Just a quick segue here, really quick here. Just talking about the fun '60s origins of how things began. Professor X. People think that he was paralyzed by Magneto. No, he was paralyzed by an alien named Lucifer who pushed a boulder onto his legs. So, things like this really.
Damn you, devil!
You alien devil! In the middle of Egypt, where did you come from? But back on the topic of Thor, don't worry, we'll talk about Professor X and the X-Men.
Oh yes, that'll be some other episode. We won't tell you when.
Yeah. But back to referencing Thor here in his origin, one other unique aspect was that he had this little walking stick, and that was actually Mjolnir that he found, that he used as a walking stick.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Like, he found it in a cave that he dug into, and then I can't remember the actual issue or what they said, but I'm pretty sure he slammed it against a rock, and heaven knows why the hell he did that, because that's reasonable. But then he all of a sudden becomes Thor again, with the memories that he was Donald Blake. He's like, whoa, what the shit? What? With this big old hammer of power, and he defeats the aliens, continues living this dual life, going back and forth, right?
He does that for quite some time
Yeah.
in the 616 universe, the mainstream Marvel universe.
Yeah.
He does that for quite some time. Now, one other thing that I really wanted to talk about here was the fact that, Thor, he really was pompous in the beginning, back before he was cast down, so to speak, and then became this Donald Blake character. And that's really interesting because we have this character here who really had to be broken down first before it could be built up. With most of our other major superheroes is kind of the opposite in the sense that they start off broken down and then they kind of work their way up to become someone super, you know,
That's true.
to become a hero. Thor was a little bit different.
Well, that is also true, and I think it's kind of necessary at that point whenever you choose to begin a character as a god.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, none of the others started off that way. I mean, Tony Stark just started off as a rich brat who, you know, had a great brain and lots of money. I mean, shoot. Captain America started out as the wimp of Brooklyn, you know, come on. So it's interesting to see, like you said, you know, the opposite spectrum. I'm too high and mighty, and no, I'm not.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think that's great character development, and that's something that's really original for that day and age. And it's really relevant even today, I think. Something else that's really cool to think about is just a little segue here. Another segue is that the original Thor movie, of course, Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
That to me, I really enjoyed the movie first and foremost. I thought the movie overall was a really good movie. And one thing that I really liked about it a lot was the fact that even though Marvel Studios knows that a lot of the audience really doesn't know a lot about this character, they still put a lot of cool winks and nods in the movie for the fans. For example, like, because going into the theater for Thor 1, I was wondering how they tackle his origin, you know, since when they tackle his origin. I was really wondering, like, how are they going to handle this? Because they can't do the whole Donald Blake thing, you know.
Right.
Because like that.
That'd be a little...
Yeah, that just can't fly. Right. And what they did was really clever. So he comes down to Earth. I'm sure you've all seen the movie. If not, then after this podcast, go watch it.
You probably should.
This podcast is going to be...
This is a premature thing to listen to.
This is going to be mainly about Thor Ragnarok, which is the third Thor movie. So please, if you haven't seen the first one, go watch it. But anyways, so he's cast down. And of course, he still thinks he's mighty Thor, but he doesn't have any mighty ability, so to speak. Still a really badass fighter, but didn't have any of his skills. And he's looking for Mjolnir, and he finally found it. He can lift it. But one really unique thing about it was that Jane Foster in the movie, you know, she kind of covers for him, and she goes, well, we have this ID for him. His name is Donald Blake. Something that just kind of made up for him. Right. Now, to the casual moviegoer fan, they won't think anything of it, but of course, to the comic book lover who really likes the lore, then of course, that's really cool nod and wink to the character.
You really gotta love those Easter eggs. One other fact I did actually learn in my research of the character, did you know that there was a Thor movie before Marvel's Thor movie?
Yeah, there was
The Incredible Hulk returns, and that's where Thor first made his cinematic, like, big silver screen appearance. He was played by Eric Allen Kramer in 1988.
Yeah.
I remember looking at that overly weird costume.
Yeah. Now, this was straight to TV, wasn't it? Because it was the original Hulk they had, Lou Ferrigno at the game.
You know, I was not alive in 88. I couldn't tell you. I had no idea. I'm going to say sure.
I was alive in 88, but I was not old enough to see that, but I saw it at a later age.
Try to guess our ages from those clues.
Yeah. I'm 29.
Yeah, I'm 27.
But anyways, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a straight to TV type production.
Yeah.
And I remember watching. Actually, I watched a clip from it again. I think a couple weeks ago.
How was it?
Oh man, it was great.
Yeah.
Full of 80s nostalgia. Oh yeah, it was.
How are those lightning effects?
Pretty good for the 80s actually. Okay. They weren't too bad. But you know what there was a lot of in the 80s, especially when you had big, strong guys. There was a lot of picking up and throwing, you know, whether it be the actual person or an item or whatever. There's a lot of pick up and throw. And there's still a lot of that today, but in the 80s, it was almost all done in slow motion.
Yeah.
Just to really emphasize the strength of these characters.
I love it.
Yes.
But you're right. Chris Hemsworth definitely did a great job bringing the character back to life. And I also love the fact that Marvel does such a dagging good job of Easter egging the whole movie. You know, filling the movie with all these I got nothing.
Well, since we were slightly in the topic of talking about him, slow motion throwing things, that got me thinking about like Thor's overall kind of skill set. Now, what are some things that Thor can do?
Well, I mean, he already has the power of flight, and he also has the strength of a god. So, I mean, that's pretty damn strong. But he also, thanks to Mjolnir, the hammer, it gives him power over the weather, essentially summoning lightning and thunder at his whim, no matter where he's at, in, outdoors, up high, down low, he's got it. I mean, he also can use that sucker basically as the ultimate pinball weapon. Throws it, bam, 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 back in hand perfectly. Nothing lost.
I need a hammer like that.
I know, right?
The problem is, if I had a hammer like you in there, I wouldn't be worthy to lift it. So there's that issue.
That's true. The Mjolnir hammer does have a very notorious power set where you have to be worthy.
Now, one thing that has caused a little, not really controversy, but definitely caused for conversation about Thor's power set is that of flight. Okay, because his original power of flight in the comics was actually designated to Mjolnir. You would always see him twirl it up and throw it, causing him to propel himself, and then he would use the weather to create currents to kind of keep himself in flight. Now, obviously, as the story progresses, like how do you do things like levitate into place? How would he do it? And so it kind of became
chalk that up to wind. Maybe he was just like circulating that wind to shit, just.
Yeah. I don't know what strong to think of that. But it just became way easier to say, hey, he can fly. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, eventually,
right. Him twirling his hammer and kind of leading it in the air. And you can't see me, but I'm doing the motion with my hand right now.
Yeah, he is, ladies and gentlemen. He really is.
And if I have you in my hand right now, I'd be through this studio/apartment, not a studio apartment, and I would be in the air right now.
He really would. He'd just be a big old flying masked man. So, what is that? He broke the apartment ceiling.
I'm not paying for that.
But, I guess not. Go buy renter's insurance. That is a good point. I mean, I come to think of it, he never flew without the hammer in the movies, did he? I don't think he did.
That's a good question. I can't confirm or deny that.
Because, I mean...
Okay,
no, I really don't think he did. Like, he never decided, let me fly up there without doing the cool spinning hammer action,
Right.
We definitely see that in the first Thor movie when he flew up to the skyscraper. What was that building? The Empire State? Yeah, it was the Empire State Building. He flew up.
In Thor 1?
In Thor... No, in the Avengers.
Okay.
Not Thor 1, I'm sorry. I'm transferring mentally without talking about it. But, Avengers... Big old fight in New York City, all the stuff's flying around, the giant space worms are coming through and eating through stuff like worms in an apple. And then all of a sudden you get Thor flying, doing this spinning hammer, he goes up to the top of the building. I just did the action myself, people. And, then he does this awesome thunder kick-assery and just, lightnings everything. Yeah, it was super cool.
Oh, yeah. And I think it's important to say that, of course, Thor, like you said, also does have super strength. And now when it comes to comic books and, their power set, that one is pretty common. It's the super strength. But what's interesting is when you try to look at, where does the super strength rank at amongst super strength. Now, some noticeable or notable battles for Thor, he's gone toe-to-toe with the Sentry, who is a powerhouse in his own right. I don't want to do power rankings, but I would loosely put Sentry definitely in the top 10 powerhouses in the Marvel Universe.
Actually, speaking of rankings, I have some more interesting facts about that. For instance, apparently in 2000, what number is that friggin' A? Okay, in 2011, IGN put Thor as number 14 in a list of top 100 in the comic book heroes of all time, which ones were the best, and apparently Thor got 14. So,
was that for the best or just? Because best is a really vague word. Because I think I remember seeing that article. I think it was when they said best, they didn't mean most powerful or strongest. They meant it in the sense of overall character.
Right.
Overall
that was the impression I got too. Yeah. But then they also did another list in 2012 where he was a top Avenger, and apparently he was the number one top Avenger, which.
because a lot of times, here's the thing, because I also want to talk about Thor in like the comic book aspect as well, not just from the movies.
Right.
But like I said, he's gone toe to toe with a lot of really strong people. Of course, the Hulk being another one that he's gone toe to toe with, who is a powerhouse in his own right. By the way, we're probably going to do a podcast from here pretty soon. Also, he's gone toe to toe with a lot of people that really, you know, are really some of the top tier heroes. Yeah. I mean, even Tony Stark, he had a suit designed specifically to fight Thor. I believe he called that with the Godbuster. I could be wrong.
Really?
I think it was the Godbuster. Yeah.
That's not a very original name, considering the Hulkbuster is a suit.
Yeah, I actually think
Hulkbuster, Godbuster.
Now, you listeners may have to correct me on this, but
he's gonna have to build a new suit called the Thanos Buster.
I think the Godbuster though came before the Hulkbuster.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, shoot, that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. The Hulkbuster is an original name. Damn it, Tony! Come on, be creative.
But I could be wrong. I have to go back and look that up.
For real though, he's gonna need like a Thanos Buster. Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna work.
I don't think it would work. I think you need better technology for that.
It's certainly never worked in the comics.
Nope.
But
anywho.
But yeah, so back to Thor though, like from a comic book aspect, and you know we're looking at the things that he can do. You said you may mention how he was listed at one time as like the top Avenger,
right?
As far as like power goes, especially. And one thing about that, and that may cause people to have some pause. You know, they may look at that and be like, "Well, really?" Well, here's the thing about a lot of these team up comic books. So, like, whether you read or have read like the New Avengers run, or even the Ultimates, one thing you have to realize is that whenever you get like a group of superheroes in a comic book, or even a movie, because it's in both where they have this, and you put them together, all of a sudden, it seems like none of them can really overcome obstacles they can do on their own when they're in a team-up environment.
Right.
And I guess it's just kind of one of those things that you really can't get around, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it is there. I mean, it's hard to think of an example, but like, there's plenty of businesses, like I said, even in the movies where, like for example, one mainstream example that I can think of was looking at Avengers 1. We have is at the very end of the movie, like the big climax and all that. Tony Stark, he pretty much has the Chitauri bomb basically, and he's flying into outer space because they don't want the shit to blow up in New York City. It's pretty understandable. And sitting there in the theater, in the midst of this awesome movie, like my endorphins are high because I'm experiencing this thing for the first time ever. But even then, I was thinking, why not just send the guy that can be just fine in outer space?
Right.
Why not just send the guy also who I'm pretty sure is probably faster than Iron Man?
Right.
You don't have to send Iron Man to do this. Like Thor could do this and you know destroy the artifact, and even if he doesn't make it back in time, he go, all right, well I guess I have to fly back to Earth.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, oh crap, well, alright, better go take the Rainbow Road to Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's a good answer for that, honestly. I mean, to comic fans, that almost makes too much sense. You know, like, oh, crisis averted, everyone's done. Tony Stark never did get that PTSD. We're good.
That's where it came from.
That would have been all of Iron Man 2. Solved right there.
Iron Man 3, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, screw it all. But no, instead they use a fan favorite, good old Tony Stark. And I think the reason behind that, honestly, dude, is because that would have caused a little bit of confusion because they never had anything leading up to that in the movie. Now, as fans, we know better. Freaking Thor, I mean, his first appearance was Journey into Mysteries. That was all in space, dude. So we don't see Thor breathing oxygen the first time we see him.
And Thor 1, we see him in Asgard.
And Thor the movie one,
Yeah,
but in Journey into Mystery, the comic, we don't see him doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
And my point is, though, is that we know, even if you don't know Thor from a comic aspect, we know that he can do a lot of amazing things.
All right.
That for some reason we didn't really see him do.
Right, that's true. They it might be a bit of a stretch.
Y'all watch this, I'm doing something different instead of playing music.
But I will say it anyways. I mean, they kind of debuffed Thor
Listen to a
fair bit, you know? But at the same time, I feel like as a fan aspect, well, excuse me, maybe I should better label it. Let's say the typical moviegoer. The person is going to the Marvel movie just because it looked like a fun flick, not because they were a Thor fan, not because they know have seen that and said, wait a minute, he can do that? And it would have diverted from the overall, what they were trying to get out of the movie. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I know where you're going.
Yeah.
The thing of this is that, I don't know, I believe in the audience more than Kevin does.
I don't. I believe in you suckers sometimes, what can I say?
I mean, because I look at it like this. Like, had I gone into all these Marvel movies and had never picked up a comic book ever, so pretend like all these comics and graphic novels around us don't exist right now. Let's pretend that I never picked up a single one.
Yeah.
And I go into these movies and I watch them. I would still think to send the god to go do that task versus the human.
You know, actually, if you look at it from that far away, hell yeah, I agree, you know? Yeah, what are you guys doing? Just use the god for everything.
Yeah.
Don't spend your money to make a suit.
Another good point that you brought up, which is something that is also true, is the debuffing of superheroes in comic book movies. And, you know, with that, I have a bias, and I'll explain that. And it's pretty much like this. So I really don't mind too much when my heroes are kind of de-strengthened in these movies.
Right.
Because for one thing, like it's so hard to really display like their full power in a movie. Because you can pick up a comic book and read it and understand it more clearer than what they can really do in a movie. You know, I mean, you can do it to a certain extent. You can display it to a certain extent, but like the full array of all these superheroes' powers is something that's hard to portray in a movie. On the flip side, though, one thing that I do not like is when a villain is you know, depowered.
So what's your opinion on Ultron?
Is that
That's like
I'm saying?
a prime example of
Ultron.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too much in Ultron because that's a whole nother rant that you people don't want to hear tonight.
Exactly. That's like a whole other episode, even though the movie already passed.
Yeah.
But, hot damn, dude. Ultron's super cheated. Anywho, I'm not going to let you get in that rant.
Yeah, please, thank you. Do not let me get into that rant. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Mjolnir, though. He has the...
Yeah, one discussion I definitely wanted to have, because we already discussed Mjolnir's effects and the, you know, how it's basically the hammer that gives and grants the Thor lightning and thunder effect. It also, however, carries the requirement of worthiness, you know, and I guess that's a whole philosophical question we don't have to get into.
Right.
I do want to get into it a little bit more. So, a lot of people have lifted Mjolnir. Let's go through that list, because a lot of people have found the worthiness, damn it. Yeah, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Captain America definitely was one, right?
Yeah, he was one.
Yeah, good old Steve Rogers. Magneto? Did he lift it using his powers? I'm pretty fairly certain he did.
Magneto lifted it using his powers.
Which is kind of cheating.
That's a cause for controversy because...
His powers were worthy.
The controversy comes from the fact that, okay, he used parts of Mjolnir, but Mjolnir isn't just... It's made of Uru metal, but it's also magic and based. So how was he able to use his powers to lift something that's magical? And so,
True.
I mean... And, you know, like, hey, on that debate, I'm like, I don't have a dog in the fight.
No, I was about to say, I'm not getting involved in that. That's just semantics. Really.
Yeah, you know, like, the writers wanted Magneto to lift Thor's hammer, so guess what? Magneto couldn't lift Thor's hammer.
Let's see who else. I'm pretty sure Hulk did it at one time or another, didn't he?
Correct me if I'm wrong, listeners. I don't believe in the comics it ever happened, but there was one animated movie where it did.
Oh, okay.
And
seriously, correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah, and I remember watching that and thinking,
wait a minute.
Yeah, how the hell?
Even as a kid, he literally said to himself, how in the hell?
Well, to be fair, like this was like back in 2012, so I was a grown man still on my couch watching this animated movie.
That's true, yeah. Shoot, I was probably right there beside you, just like, yo, what's going on right here, man? Who else? I'm running blank on other names.
Better Ray Bill.
Oh, okay, that one makes sense. Come on. Let's talk about who that is real quick for those who don't know. Who only know him as the weird skull that Star-Lord pushed in the movie.
Well, if they don't know Better Ray Bill, they probably didn't recognize his race of people.
Touche.
And to be fair, I don't know the name of his race of people. They're called Horsebird people.
That's the name. Copyrighted.
Didn't make that up. so for you listeners right now, go scratching your head saying, who the hell is Beta Ray Bill? Because that is a funny name.
It really is. Like, I want to... Actually, we'll have to research that ourselves so we can actually talk about it next time. But who the hell came up with a name like that and said, "Yep, this is a character. We're doing this."
So, funny story here. I remember, and this story did take place when I was a kid. So, not a grown man in this story here. But I remember as a kid, for one Christmas, I got, I believe it was, what's the name of that video game?
Thor, the video game.
Ultimate Alliance. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
I got Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah. We played that actually as grown men.
I have not had a lot of growth.
Just so you know what we're up to over here. That's how it is. That's how we roll.
But I remember playing Ultimate Alliance 1, and I remember that game was such an awesome game. It still is. But one dope thing I really liked about it was that like you could change the character's skin, and you get like a different kind of skill set that you can put your points in and improve your characters and whatnot. And I really like using Thor because he was kind of like a jack of all trades. He could fly, he had ranged attack, he had good strength. It's like, well, he's one of the best characters in the game.
Right.
And I remember one time I unlocked all of his other outfits. One of the outfits was Better Ray Bill. I was like, what the hell is this? Why does his face look like a horse man?
Like BoJack Horseman getting powers.
Could you imagine if BoJack Horseman had Thor's power? Mjolnir would never get lifted.
And he'd be drunk all the time.
He'd be drunk all the time. Asgard would be destroyed 8 times over.
Yep.
I apologize for listeners who have no idea who BoJack is.
I know, right? Go watch the show.
BoJack would be like Betty Ray Bill's failed cousin. But yeah, so I mean, I didn't do any research on this for Betty Ray Bill for this. I probably should have. But just going off the top of my head here, Betty Ray Bill, he was coming from like a race that was being destroyed by insert supervillain, because I don't remember what supervillain it was. And Thor was doing battle as well, and I believe Thor got separated from Mjolnir. Betty Ray Bill sees his mighty hammer. He goes over and he's able to pick it up because he is worthy.
And so he basically becomes the new Thor at that point.
In a sense, but his name is
yeah.
I mean, he still goes by Betty Ray Bill, and this man don't disown his name. He's like, no, I'm Betty Ray Bill. But he uses that to vanquish the evil and save his people. What's interesting though is that Thor's like, good job, I want my hammer back. And Betty Ray Bill was like, man, hell no, this is mine now. I just use it to save my people. Like, this is a tool that's used for good. Obviously, you weren't using it good enough because I got it now. And so there's that whole big thing. And Thor actually went and had to go use another weapon. But initially, Betty Ray Bill, he was able to go to the same dwarf that made Thor's hammer and get something else crafted for him. But long story short, Betty Ray Bill
as long as my resolution's high enough,
similar to Thor. And as a matter of fact, if you watch the same movie, that same animated movie where Hulk picked up Thor's hammer, Betty Ray Bill's in that, as a matter of fact. I was just reminded of that.
Actually, I went ahead and pulled it up here real quick, just for you fans to know, for the future reference. We will have a computer here for quick research, quick comment reading, what have you, etc., etc. Here, I went ahead and looked up the name of his other weapon, and actually, go figure, he apparently used this well before he used Mjolnir.
Oh, yeah, he used that one way before Mjolnir.
Yeah.
That's,
Jarnborn.
Yes,
Jarnborn or Jarnborn?
I've always only read the name, so I called it different things every time. But yeah, he used that one way before he used Mjolnir.
Yeah.
And he also used it once he became unworthy, and I think that's what he's going to be using in the new Ragnarok movie.
Right, that's actually what I was going to ask. I was really hoping that we do actually hear, not only do we see the axe, I really wanted to see it, but I also wanted to hear a shout out that what the axe's name is, because it's a pretty badass looking weapon,
Oh yeah, most definitely. At one point, I think he's even able to enchant that thing with his blood.
Yeah, right, dude. Good timing, because I just read that.
Oh yeah, nice.
Actually, apparently he enchanted it with his blood, giving it the power to pierce celestial armor. Actually, is the deal. So it's the ultimate pierce, right there. Just cuts and slice and dice. Yeah,
you gotta make do when you don't have you in there.
I know, right?
But yeah, that's another cool weapon used by Thor. Not quite as handy dandy as Mjolnir, but
frickin' lightning and thunder.
Right.
Yeah. And possibly flight. Yeah.
But, I was just on a slight topic of Ragnarok. Let's kind of get into that for a second.
Heck yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's probably one of the reasons why people would, bother to listen to this particular podcast right now.
Right.
Oh, Thor, well, there's a Thor movie coming out.
For those of you that chose to do that exact thing, chose to listen to this podcast for Ragnarok, we hope you enjoyed the other news you learned about good old Thor beforehand.
That's if you learned anything. If you didn't learn a damn thing, then I hope that you enjoyed us talking about all the cool things about Thor.
Exactly.
But yeah, so Thor Ragnarok is coming out November 2nd. And just FYI, we hope to have a spoiler-free and a spoiler-filled review on that by November 3rd. So we'll have that up for you guys shortly after the release of the movie.
You heard him. Yep.
Now, some things about Ragnarok I wanted to talk about was, well, for one thing, let's talk about the main villain that we see.
Good old Hela.
Good old Hela.
Yeah, what's the deal with Hela? Is she from Hell?
Well, she reigns over Hell, H-E-L,
Right.
the Thor comics.
Damn.
And one interesting thing about Hela that, if I remember correctly reading this in the comic, and I don't know if it's ever been confirmed, but like somehow Loki is like her alleged father. So like, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Good old Tom Riddleston.
Oh, man. Yeah. So now, I don't know how they're gonna work that in the movie. If they do, then I'd be like, well, damn. But yeah, so that's one thing about her. Another thing about Trill Hela is that yeah, she does reign over Hell, H-E-L, and she's also an extremely powerful being. If I remember correctly, like one of her main power facets is actually her cloak. She has a cloak that essentially almost makes her invulnerable to any kind of damage. I mean, it makes her OP, which I really love in my villains, by the way. I love for villains to be OP because it forces the writer to get creative as to how to defeat said enemy.
Right.
But anyways, back to Hela. About that cloak of hers, I do remember though that once Thor was able to kind of get that cloak from her, not only was she vulnerable, but she was also half dead. Like half of her body was like death and decay, the other half looked young and beautiful. With the cloak though, she looks whole and she looks like she's won. But with that cloak though, I mean she also has like super strength. When I say super strength, I don't just mean Thor super strength. I mean she has a power set that's close to being on par with that of Odin. That's powerful.
That is.
Yeah.
Now, one other thing I want to talk about, because the cloak is definitely more from the comic realm, am I correct?
Yeah.
Now, in the comic realm, she's also known as the goddess of death. That's not to be confused with Death, whom Thanos falls in love with. I'm correct, right?
You are correct.
So apparently there are two different females running Death.
Yeah.
There's something to be said of that, I'm sure. I mean, someone call Hall & Oates, tell them they had it right. They're man-eaters, man. Both of them.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, shit.
Just made a Hall & Oates.
You're welcome. Ooh-wee. We love Hall & Oates.
I don't know how to recover from that.
I do. So I will highlight this real quick. Thank you for letting me make a Hall & Oates joke, people. Yeah, I love Hall & Oates. But good old Hela, the goddess of death. Actually, this is something I do want to highlight here. Something that both comic book companies in the cinematic world, Marvel and DC, have been doing better at. This will be the first female lead antagonist that Marvel has ever used in their cinematic world. And I mean,
you are correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mainstream cinematic universe.
Exactly. She's going to be like the main focus villain, first time ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right there.
You're definitely right about that. And I hope that she gets a better treatment than most Marvel villains.
For real. She doesn't just become a one and done.
and not even just being a one and done, but being a one note one and done.
Well, I will say this: the recent Spider-Man movie did better.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Vulture, freaking awesome dadgum.
But Michael Keaton would not have taken that role had Vulture been this one note, one-sided character.
Very true.
And Michael Keaton wouldn't put up with that shit.
That's some love to you, Michael Keaton.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Vulture is definitely well done in the movie, and that's actually something that that's really interesting that I like to talk about is the fact that, just real quick, with the Vulture, never really cared for the character in the comic books.
No, just some old weird dude.
Yeah, just some old real guy in a flying Vulture suit. And Spider-Man: Homecoming, though, I really enjoyed the character, and they did a really good job of hooking me in by bringing on Michael Keaton for that role.
Hell yeah. I hope they do a great job in the sequel. But to bring us back to our girl here, Hela, Goddess of Death, apparently she's being played by Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. You're better at the Hollywood actress and actors than I am. What else has she been in, just so we can kind of paint the image for the listeners?
As far as movies that I've seen, Lord of the Rings.
Oh, hell yeah. Wait, was she the elven chick, the hot elf chick that's like trying to get with Aragorn, or the way around?
That was Liv Tyler you're thinking of.
Yeah, okay. So who is this babe?
Oh geez, like
not to sexualize it. I'm sorry.
Hey man, who was that strong, respected female? That's what he actually
exactly.
said.
Who was that strong, respectable, empowering female?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, people.
Now I'm not really up on my Lord of the Rings lore, so I can't call off her name of the character that she played, but it was like one of the high elves that played a really important part. But it's interesting though, because like if you put up a picture of her character from Lord of the Rings, and you put up a picture of her as Hela and Thor Ragnarok, it's like, well, that's
I'm pretty sure they look entirely different.
Oh yeah, it's like two opposite sides of the same coin.
Oh yeah. Okay, I put up a picture of her here so we can talk about it some more. Yeah, she definitely was the good elf leader chick. She looked like the, I'm not sure if I'm using the right terms of royalty here, but maybe the empress of the elven colony. I don't know. I'm really not a huge LOTR fan, so I'm really kind of tiptoeing into this. Not to say I'm not a fan. I respect and I do enjoy the series, but I won't say I know it as well as all of you guys, you know. But yeah, she definitely played in Lord of the Rings. We recognize her. Oh, she's also Australian, so a cool, for your information, FYI there. But going back to our girl,
Hela.
Yeah, totally different chick. Probably like the yin. Oh wait, what? Oh, help me out here. Yin or yang? Which one's dark? Which one's light? No, yin is light.
Yes.
Yes. So Hela is definitely the yang to Lord of the Rings yin right now. She's all dark and gruesome looking in the trailers. She's got this messy, sexy hair going for herself.
What really threw me off was like, man, and what really surprised me was like they got like the whole helmet thing right.
Yeah,
the movie.
I saw that.
Because that thing is so out of whack in the comic books. Like, whoa, that's really accurate. If you don't know what we're talking about, like, please take a moment to get on your computer and pull up a picture of Hela, whether it be from the movie or from the comic book. And man, that helmet she wears is just insane. It
looks like they cut off a moose's skull and
like
put it on.
Like a stag that has immortality, and those things just keep growing.
Yeah. It's like how many points is that helmet? 6 points with a couple of like thorns growing off of it. It's pretty intense.
But just back to Hela though, like she really is an extremely powerful villain, and one that I'm glad to see finally being brought to light in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Kate Blanchett definitely has the acting chops to really bring life to this performance.
Yeah.
And let's hope that that they really do a good job of portraying this character in the movie, because I really want this to be a strong performance here. I really need this to be another strong Marvel movie.
He needs it.
Yeah.
We need it.
No, because there was a while out there where a lot of the Marvel movies, it's not that any of them were bad, but they were all kind of becoming the same thing, and that just really, it really hindered my enjoyment of the movie.
Or without saying any movie titles out there, because I definitely don't want to offend. Or they just kind of become this typecast, weaker film, where it's kind of like they're just working off what they think the audience wants, and they just give it to them, rather than making a quality, new continuation of their storyline,
Right.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're both thinking the same movie, but I'm not going to say it, I'm not going to throw some slander out there,
Yeah, I mean, because when it comes down to it, like, I essentially, for the most part at least, I enjoy these movies because I love these characters.
You and me both, man. They're good.
Yeah, and you'll hear me say this a lot, but when it comes to my comic book movies, like, I don't expect these movies to portray these stories panel for panel from the comic books.
No, that'd be boring. Yeah.
What I do expect here is for them to nail the aspects of the characters. So get the characters down right, and then you can create any story around those characters you want to, and I'll watch it and I'll love it.
Right.
That's
Don't make
true. know that
baby tree.
Just know that I hated it.
Me too.
But one more thing I did want to talk about when it comes to Thor Ragnarok was, first of all, of course, Ragnarok itself and the Marvel Universe is like the equivalent of like the apocalypse.
Right. Actually, in the Norse religion, if you look that up or choose to do so just to understand the character better, Ragnarok, in their belief, is actually the term for the apocalypse. It's the end of the world when everything's set to shit. You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like in the movie here, that Hela's going to try to bring forth apocalypse, and Ragnarok, not inside the door from the universe, but she's going to try to bring forth Ragnarok to Asgard, and if she does, then now's the time to do it, because like I said earlier, she has power that's like up there on par with Odin, and I don't believe Odin's the picture anymore.
But
last time we saw Loki was sitting on the throne, not Odin.
Sorry, Anthony Hopkins.
Sorry, Anthony Hopkins. He may actually be in the movie, though. I'm not for certain.
That'd be cool if it was. I know we're actually seeing, damn it, what's his name? John, Jurassic Park people.
Snow.
No, not that. He knows something, damn it. He knows things. He doesn't know nothing, but, John, him, no, damn it. Give me a second, I'm looking this up. This is gonna bug me. Actually, you know what? I already have it pulled up. Let me go to this. Okay, I'm looking it up. I'm getting pissed off. There it is, Jeff Goldblum. I was like John. That's like Jeff freaking Goldblum.
Okay. Yeah, yes. Jeff Goldblum. Yeah,
he's also a very fun actor.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah,
he's playing the collector's brother, actually.
I'm not gonna look at the rest of the cast list because I don't want to eat any spoilers. And I know as soon as I see like a famous name, then they're gonna be in there, you know.
One more character aspect that I wanted to talk about as far as Ragnarok goes is and I always have a hard time saying his name, because it was so simple.
Oh dear.
Surtur. S-U-R-T-U-R.
Surtur.
Yes.
Surtur. I am Surtur. I like saying it.
Now, what's really cool about him...
Who is that?
So,
I'll profess to know everything. Just remember that always.
When it comes to comic books, no one does. They do the line. Even Stan the Man Lee.
I mean, he forgot he made Groot, damn it. Like, oh yeah.
Are you sure?
I am Groot. Are you? Anywho,
but yeah, Surtur, he's a fire demon. Obviously, if you've seen the trailer, he's that big ass fire demon that we see like at the end of the trailer. Now it looks like they kind of combined some things here in the movie, because in the actual comic book, Surtur, he's from a realm, one of the 9 realms, but he's not from Hell. Okay, he's actually from a different realm altogether.
Actually, interesting fact about that, one of the 9 realms actually is referring to Asgard, you know, the home world of Thor himself. So we're talking about another god-level person here. We're not talking about some other pipsqueak from New York City who got some magic serum who made him a fire beast, Ifrit type, you know?
Yeah.
Anywho.
Surtur, he has things like interdimensional travel. Like his strength is also through the roof. I feel confident saying that like his strength is like way above that of even an Odin or a Hela. He has this sword. Oh man, I forget the name of this mighty sword, but this thing is badass. Oh, by the way, it's 1,000 feet tall too. I gotta throw that in there.
It sounds like we're playing a really effed up super fight game. The card game, for those who don't know.
So Surtur, he's a giant, and now when you look at him, you know you can't judge a book by its cover, because you look at him and think, okay, surely his weakness is that he's really stupid. No, this demon thing is extremely intelligent. Like, he's wise beyond his years. So he has a lot of knowledge on his hand. Of course, he has strong fire spells that he can cast, like super hot fire, and of course an immunity to fire as well. Like, why would you even try?
So essentially, and we haven't seen the movie, obviously. We haven't been given those rights yet, but essentially this being sounds like he's going to be the giant-ass matchstick that lit the world on Ragnarok fire. And I'm assuming that correctly. I'm I don't know. I'm just trying to fill in the gaps here. It sounds like that's whom Hela is trying to call forth.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they didn't put him in the trailer because he really is a big. He's a big deal in the sense that yes, he does deserve to put in the trailer, but Hela has been presented as our main antagonist. So I probably would have liked him to be out of the trailer. And you know, I mean, he's gonna be a really big threat. So hopefully, you know, he's not just in the movie and then done out of the movie. You know,
Right.
I mean, they have to deal with him. He's someone that they really have to deal with.
Right. There's no off switch to turn the fire off.
Right.
This isn't just to turn the gas off your stove.
Right. And it's like as far as beating him goes, I really don't think that you can beat Surtur. Like you really have to either have really really cold magic essentially. So they can get like Lao Fei, the Ice Giant, maybe to help him out. I don't know why he would help. Maybe he would.
Yeah.
Or have like some other really really strong spell or incantation. Doctor Strange is in the movie. What the hell?
I gotta mute you up for 1 second.
My TV did just turn this up. Would you like to grab the remote and put that on? Yeah, I really hope they put my second idea and have Doctor Strange be the one to really put a stop on that.
It would be awesome to see Doctor Strange because we know he is very familiar with overpowering beings.
If you remember at the end of the Doctor Strange movie,
he dealt with what was the name of that being he dealt with? He just basically tricked it into an eternal loop.
Well, I was actually referring to Thor in the post-credit sequence when Thor shows up and the two are sitting across from each other.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that's the first time we see Thor on screen since he wasn't in Civil War for quite some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thor was very hurt by that. He's living with a guy named Daryl.
Yeah, that was a fun video. Yeah. Daryl, these are more valuable than your dollars. This is Asgardian gold. Which, you know, I'd take some Asgardian gold.
Pawn that off real quick.
Yeah.
Pay my rent.
Anywho.
Alright.
Yep, there was there anything else that you want to talk about when it comes to actual Ragnarok, the movie?
I mean, besides the facts, it does come out November 3rd everywhere across America. I honestly can't wait for it. One other thing I do want to... Actually, two things I want to mention. One's a question, the other is another fact. We'll save that for later. Let's get to the question. Do you think we'll see our Jane Foster this movie? Because Jane Foster in the comics was not only a force to be dealt with for Donald Blake, but she even becomes female Thor. Thor, you know, new age. So do you think we'll see any relic of her this time?
I mean, it's possible. I feel like at this point, though, they've kind of reached a point where they can have Jane Foster in the movie, but she really wouldn't serve that much purpose, I don't think.
Okay.
I mean,
maybe as an in-game Easter egg, potentially.
Yeah.
That might be me rushing things. Who knows? But
yeah.
I don't know. Just curiosity. Yeah.
Yeah,
over just
I mean,
a little bit.
like I said, she could be in the movie. I don't have a problem with Natalie Portman. No, not Natalie Portman. No.
Yeah, I was about to say, did Natalie Portman actually play Jane Foster?
It was.
Yeah, I don't know.
Am I tricking myself here? Is it Natalie Portman? I feel like it was a different actress.
No, Natalie Portman definitely was the chick who played Thor 1.
Yeah, then it's Natalie Portman. I think it threw me off because...
Yeah, played by Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
I
think it threw me off because I've been seeing so many trailers of her playing Jackie Kennedy.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I'm like, man, there's no way that's Jane Foster. But it is. She very well could be in the movie, but once again, like, no disrespect to her, but I really don't need to see her in this movie.
I was about to say, I think we could still stand to have some Chris Hemsworth Thor time. You know, I don't want to rush it and all of a sudden have a female Thor halfway through. You know.
Oh, as far as like female
like
Thor goes, I mean,
right,
that's
what
really
I'm wondering.
Oh,
yeah.
No, I don't think that's gonna be a thing.
Okay, not even in the cinematic universe.
Not for a long time.
I think that there'd be some valuable ground there eventually, years down the road maybe, but.
Like I said, not in a long time.
Right, that's what I was hoping. I don't want it to happen too soon, because then it's like, oh, well, damn.
Yeah.
I mean, bye, Chris. You know, hope it was fun.
Now,
nice to meet Chris's.
Now, when it comes to Captain America or Chris Evans, that's a way more likely thing to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Thor Ragnarok comes out really soon, people. Like I said,
November 3rd.
Yeah, depending where you are, November 2nd, Thursday night, or 3rd, which is the
I was about to say, we're lucky. We get it Thursday night.
Yeah. And we also, like I said before, the movie comes out, we also want to cover our big green friend, the Incredible Hulk. And so we should be having that out for you sometime soon. Also, we'll also have our spoiler-free / spoiler-filled review of Thor Ragnarok.
Indeed. That's going to be hella fun.
Now, one thing that we really want to do here on Superhero Homies podcast, that we really want to make a tradition, is that once we get done covering a character and really discussing them, we have a book. It's a sacred book. It is a mighty, mighty sacred book that we like to refer to, and we like to gain more knowledge from. Give us the book.
Of course, my dear friend. The book, ladies and gentlemen, is called The League of Regrettable Superheroes. Now, for those who are familiar with Loot Crate, apparently this is the Loot Crate edition, but it's a book that was put together by John Morris. It is genius, folks, okay? I cannot tell you enough. Apparently there's been a lot of hiccup, what were we thinking type superheroes made in the past by all sorts of comic companies, and we want to read one of these random people every time we close out an episode, essentially, because they're hilarious. We laugh about it every time we pick up the book, and we're just going to turn to a random page and introduce you to one. For tonight, we have, Spider Queen. Are we familiar with that one?
Spider Queen. We are not. That's a new one on me.
Okay, let's just skim it here, because it's a long series of things. Like, they write out a couple of paragraphs for each hero, but essentially she was created by a Else Lisao, who was believed to be Luis and Arturo Casanova, whomever they are, debuted in The Evil Number 2 of Fox Features of September 1941. So if you don't recognize that, don't feel bad. It's in the 40s, people. And ironic twist, she still gets squicked out by spiders. Okay.
Yeah, so let's have some like, what does she actually do? What's her deal?
Okay, she's a masked red and blue figure. She uses... Oh, wait, no, give me a second. Let me skim here a little bit more.
Guys, I gotta mute y'all again.
Oh, okay, never mind. So, she was made basically to resemble Spider-Man, okay? She literally
Right.
And they have these conversations where they talk
Sorry about that,
candidly,
guys.
about and with one another. And Bruce's past is really the inception of the creation of the Hulk, and that just kind of gave the Hulk a pathway to really come forth and show himself.
That does make a lot of sense, because whenever you read about Bruce Banner, especially in the earlier issues, he was the quiet, not very social kid, very soft-spoken, your typical quiet type, the type that looks like they're going to explode one day behind the counter of a store, the guy that looks like he's going to go on a rampage,
Right.
but he's just bottling it all in unhealthily, That's kind of what he came off as to me in the earlier stages of the Bruce Banner story. And it's interesting to hear, actually, that even in the comics they had inner psychological conversations, I'll call it. And it's actually interesting you pull that up too, because I know in one of the movies, I want to say one of the earlier movies, Hulk 2003, is whenever they kind of depicted that a little bit.
The Ang Lee Hulk, the forgotten Hulk, or the one that we would like to forget.
Exactly.
No offense to Ang Lee or Eric Bana. Eric Bana, you guys did a really good job.
He really did. I liked his performance, but it was just
everything else.
Yeah.
Nick Nolte, you did good too in that movie, buddy.
Yep. And the chick who did Betty Ross, I liked her too. Just saying, but yeah.
But yeah, moving on from Ang Lee's 2000 Hulk.
Yeah, we'll go back to that later.
Yeah. So moving on here, we have the Hulk, and he's and his creation. Now, one thing that I really like about the Hulk, and just to side note myself here, so on our last podcast, our first podcast, we talked about Thor and about how he was really different from a lot of superheroes at the time, because he was this god who kind of fell from grace, who had to be humbled and learn his way again and pick himself up and to really become greater than what he already was.
Right.
And with the Hulk, we have this creature who is also different from a lot of other superheroes, especially at that time, in the sense that he can be misconstrued as not really being a hero at all. He can be misconstrued as just being like this mindless creature who, like you said, goes on rampages, who levels cities.
Yo.
Yeah. And so that's really interesting thing about the character himself, is that he's this man, Bruce Banner, who happens to transform into this behemoth of a monster, this raging behemoth that's so hard to control, and that, I mean, really, you really can't do anything to stop it. And so, with the Hulk, like, he's not treated the same way as, say, Captain America would be treated.
Right.
The military doesn't really pull up at Captain America's door every time he throws a shield, but when the Hulk smashes something, the military's got to intervene. So yeah, the Hulk is kind of a handful to deal with compared to other superheroes. I'm using air quotations here when I say superheroes.
Right. I gotta say, one thing I really appreciate about the Hulk, and you can really see this in a lot of Stan Lee's characters, is he was the underdog, and now he's been giving, such as the other underdogs created by Stan Lee, Thor, who became, Donald Blake, and then all of a sudden Spider-Man, Peter Parker the nerd. You see all these people given a chance to outshine the lower profile that people judge them to have. Dr. Bruce Banner, the quiet socialite, the smart nerd who really probably didn't have a lot going for him pre-Hulk, is what I'm imagining, since, we don't see tons of comics on that, especially what with the past with his father,
Mm-hmm.
But now he's been given this awesome opportunity, and it's almost too freaking awesome, because he's having a hard time controlling the Hulk in the early stages, I mean, he's freaking destroying stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The Hulk is like, oh, crap, okay, he's coming out, guys, I'm sorry, you won't like me when I'm angry. Oh, yeah. Too late. Yeah. I'm blowing shit up.
Right.
Only the way the Hulk can.
Oh, yeah.
I'm creating craters when I jump.
And, oh, man, like, assuming we can pull this up, his skill set, because I forget just how far he can jump. And then, like, how many miles is that this guy can jump? It's something ridiculous. But speaking of superpowers here, so of course everyone knows that the Hulk has super strength.
Right.
But now the extent of that super strength is pretty grand, so to speak. So he has strength, but it's parallel to his anger. And so the angrier you make him, of course, the stronger he gets. And now the real question is, well, how angry can one being get? Well,
Right.
with the Hulk, we can break this down to like a biological sense and talk about his pituitary gland and how much it can produce. But I think that from a comic aspect, he can get as strong as he needs to get. Okay, so however strong he needs to be for the situation, that's how angry he can get. And so that's kind of the way I look at the Hulk's strength. And one thing that I really like about the Hulk that's been consistent throughout the ages is that Hulk really is the strongest there is, in the sense that it's going to be hard pressed to find someone whose strength can match or overcome that of the Hulk.
Right. I know that's one thing I really wanted to dive into a lot more, just the power set that the Hulk has been given, because it's already almost OP that his anger corresponds with his strength, Because imagine it, people. I mean, come on. You get pissed off in like a supermarket, or you get pissed off,
Road
at
rage.
work especially. Road rage. Oh, the hell with that. We'd have too many hulking out people then. Highways would be desolated.
Yeah. We just hulking our way to work. There'd be no need for cars. We just
Man, screw this car, and you throw a freaking F-350 or something, But I'm seeing here. I'm trying to look up a few more of his powers here because that's one thing I was also confused on. I know super strength, duh.
Mm-hmm.
I know with that he can grow in size. That's been depicted a few times too. He's not just limited to one size. He can also kind of like grow to an extent. I won't say give him skyscraper, no, but like, what would you say to that?
To that, my opinion on that has always been a big no.
Yeah,
he can't.
In that case, the Hulk movie in 2003 was wrong about that too.
Yes,
okay.
that was
Thank
wrong.
you for finally stamping that crap out.
Yeah. Anytime. The Hulk would be as big as like a freaking building if that were the case. Yeah.
That would be stupid.
Yeah.
Empire State Building. He's like Godzilla with hair.
Well, no, he would be King Kong, and Betty Ross would be whatever the name the chick was in King Kong.
The blonde babe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by chick, I mean the strong, upstanding female.
Don't judge us, people. Okay, so it seems here that, almost limitless physical strength is definitely one. We talked about that, all based on emotional state. And put that on a pedestal. I want to talk about emotional state and its technical form later. Mm-hmm. It's also been said that, regeneration is something that he's got. Extreme durability. Actually, that's an interesting note. Something technical that we know but we don't talk about. Not only is his strength increased by his emotional state, but also his endurability.
Oh, yeah.
So his defense, really.
Right.
And I guess that goes hand in hand with strength. We never think about it.
Well, I mean, it really doesn't. For most superheroes, it does, but for, like, say, Jessica Jones, she has super strength, but she's not super durable. So, yeah, it does only make sense that the Hulk gets more durable as he gets stronger.
Right. I mean, that would help out because the Hulk has taken on some pretty fearsome foes and some pretty outstanding forces, too, nuclear blast. He's been able to withstand that because of his durability and his strength,
Yeah.
So, good point. I'm trying to see... Apparently his strength can actually get up to planet-shattering impacts, which makes sense,
Yeah.
Man, screw this rock. Boom. Oh, there goes a planet.
Yes. He once plugged a black hole, like, with his ass.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, pause this. What? I never knew that. Describe this,
the
please.
Hulk's ass is the mightiest there is.
Please tell me that actually happened.
Well, it actually happened in
Yes?
comics. This is a long time ago.
Yeah.
I could tell by the illustration. But,
Okay.
The Hulk also has like minor defenses to telekinetic attacks, and so that's another thing. I mean, and by minor, I mean if he really put his head to it. I think there were certain cases where he could even withstand like Professor X, which is really saying something.
That is really saying something.
Yeah. Now, how many of those psionic attacks can he withstand? I'm not sure. But like trying to mind control the Hulk is a little bit more of a chore than what you think. I mean, I guess you probably wouldn't really know that from watching Age of Ultron, where he gets mind controlled pretty easy.
Right.
But that's neither here nor there.
Exactly. Freaking movies.
We needed to see the Hulk versus Hulkbuster.
Yeah. Okay, so I do see a couple answers to the questions earlier regarding his jumping ability and some other cool details here. So, apparently his strength can allow him... Oh, wait. You know what? Let's have fun with this. Guess.
Guess what?
How far do you think this man can jump?
I'm gonna say he can jump 21 miles.
Final answer?
I guess, yeah.
People, feel free to comment on this. So, as you're commenting, filling in time, letting you get some time to comment, I'm going to read off the answer very slowly here. The man can jump into lower Earth orbit or across continents.
Across continents?
Across daggum continents. Man, screw the United States. He's going off into frickin' the ocean, man. He's just like, oh, no. Oh, overflew. And just takes a bath. Saltwater bath. Jumped over the continent. He went from California trying to go to Georgia. Nah, screw that. He just went off.
Well, damn.
Exactly. So the movie's also debuffed that tremendously. Yeah.
But, you know, for most, not all, but most superheroes, movies tend to debuff them a little bit. You know, because they're... it's hard to really depict a comic book superhero as strong as they really are, you know, in the actual movie. So what else to say about the Hulk's abilities?
Now, of course, we see that because of his durability, it gives him almost like a bulletproof aspect. You know, we've seen him and read about him taking the machine gun fire, even of high calibers, you know. And there's things like that. But also, one other thing I wanted to talk about here, I know I read this a while back ago, you know. It mentions the resist psychic control, which is awesome. The unwilling transformation, which in of itself is a type of power, and you know, it is the precursor to obtaining the strength and the durability and regeneration, because Bruce Banner technically is the one who transforms, right?
Right.
So going off into that also, he grows stronger from radiation and dark magic.
And dark magic.
I never knew that, actually. So, I
me
mean,
either.
Get some Doctor Strange foes up in there, and the Hulk is the man for the job.
Huh.
I know this is a little bigger.
And he could punch through separate temporal or spatial dimensions. So,
or use his ass to plug a
or
black
use
hole.
his ass. That's a powerful ass, people.
I mean, to be fair, it was more like his entire backside he used to close it.
That, I mean,
But
for real, yeah.
a big part of that backside is his ass. I'm sorry, people. I didn't intend for this podcast to be all about the Hulk's ass.
Right. And this is the one superpower I want to get into here at the later fact through it all, because I knew I read about this somewhere beforehand. And it guarantees it here, actually verifies it for me here, that he actually somehow, some way, through the explosion of the bomb which awoke the Hulk inside of him, has the ability to, and get this, sense astral forms.
Really?
So he can sense ghosts and spirits and shit. Yeah, he can say, oh, Casper is right there, guys. He's the friendly ghost. He's pretty friendly still. I can tell. I can sense him.
Well, that's an interesting ability.
Yeah, okay, and it actually gives a detail as to why. Because I would not be able to piece together a correlation of a freaking human bomb and a spirit.
Yeah.
But this is why. Apparently the bomb site that they used to test the bomb, which awoke the Hulk in him, and this is a very stretched out, I'm very sure, old school detail here, but apparently the bomb, where it was placed and where it exploded at, was very close in proximity to the location of Maestro's skeleton. Yeah, Maestro.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And it was apparently Maestro's spirit which called out, and you know, I'm sure I'm butchering this, and I hope I'm not too terribly butchering this, but it basically, the spirit of Maestro called out to Bruce Banner and told him to absorb the radiation, or called out to the inner Hulk, is what I'm imagining more so, and said, hey, absorb this radiation, make Bruce Banner live, and thus we have the Hulk.
And now I'm still a little lost now. The skeleton of who?
Maestro. I'm gonna say some dark magic entity. I don't know enough about that character. Let's look him up.
Let's pull him up here.
Yeah.
Because I'm not familiar with. I mean, is it Maestro or Maestro, or I'm not familiar with the character.
Well, it's technically a Spanish term for master, Maestro, but no.
Yeah, it looks like Maestro.
Maestro. Okay, yeah, we'll just say Maestro. Let's refine the search because it just defined it in Spanish for me. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Let's do just this one. Cool.
Wait a minute, Maestro. Is that a Hulk villain?
It does look like a Hulk villain, but it was technically the spirit of this villain that called out to Hulk, so... I don't know, the story would have to go into this much later on, I'm sure, and I would be fascinated to do so just to learn more about the Hulk's origin.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's some time travel lapse where a future villain of the Hulk was in the past, passed way in the past, and was buried in New Mexico where they had the bomb testing site, thus the explosion, the encounter with the spirit, thus the Hulk being born. So in other words...
being able to see astral forms.
Exactly, which kind of makes sense, because it looks like here that Maestro was kind of like a mix of the super strength and the dark magic. Like he learned to kind of tap into dark magic as a super strength user. So a little cool, not bad. That would be kind of a fearsome foe. You know, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, listeners, for sure. If you have any added information on Maestro, please fill us in. Because as you can hear, we are clueless on who the hell this guy really is.
Right. I mean, we got a cool picture of him. He looks like he has a cool beard. You know, a throne in one picture. Yeah.
He has a cool beard and a throne. That's his superpowers. So moving on here, let's talk about some of the people that Hulk has actually fought in the comics before.
For sure.
So I mean, it's easy to think about some of a lot of the physical people that he's fought in, like Abomination. I'll pull up Abomination here because a bit his real name is it's definitely like a far European name. I forget exactly what it is, but Abomination is like one of the first ones that comes to my mind because I always love supervillains that are equal to the superheroes.
Right.
I'm a sucker for that.
Oh, wow, you are not kidding. He does have that foreign name. Okay, so anyone who happens to know the... Oh, it says right here, never mind. Anyone who does happen to know how to properly speak Yugoslavian, please inform us in a recorded comment. Can you record comments on... I don't know. Anyways, so his name is Emil Blonsky.
That's right.
Or... Yes, Blonsky.
Yeah.
Final answer.
Yep. Known as Abomination. And now here's the thing: like, if you look at the Hulk and think that the Hulk is an ugly creature, then
you obviously haven't seen the Abomination.
You haven't seen the Abomination. He looks like an abomination.
Hi.
Right now,
yeah, he's pretty ugly. But before I get too far with the Abomination, I want to take a step back here and talk one more thing about the Hulk. It's a pretty obvious feature about the Hulk that's something that needs to be addressed, and that's the Hulk's intelligence.
Actually, I did have a question about that. Say what you're going to say first, though.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, obviously, the Hulk and Bruce Banner, they're like two sides of the same coin, so to speak. The Hulk, though, he's super strong, obviously, and like the most physically intimidating creature on the planet, but his intelligence is not all quite there. The Hulk is a creature that acts purely out of rage, and as a matter of fact, for the longest time, for a long stretch of the comics, the Hulk really even couldn't speak that well, and I actually prefer that version of the Hulk, the version that really can't speak that well.
That was where my question was going to be based from, because we see this gradually happening in the movies now, and we've encountered it in the comics already in multiple universes of the Marvel, in the Marvel writing style. But when is it that the Hulk actually becomes intelligent enough to be coherent in his speaking?
Okay. So, do you remember reading the Amalgam, the DC and Marvel crossover where they fight each other?
Yeah.
So that was the first comic that I ever read personally, where the Hulk, where Bruce Banner had control of the Hulk. And so it was like, it was in that state, it was the Hulk body, but Bruce Banner's mind. And so in that sense, like Bruce Banner pretty much had full control. And so he kind of stayed in Hulk form a lot because he wouldn't.
Right. I think I remember that. That was when he was chopping wood with Betty Ross.
He was in Chaplin, yeah, something like that. Or he was on the beach with her.
And he did. Oh yeah, he said his old catchphrase, "Hulk smash," and then Betty was like, "Don't say that."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I'm actually not certain like when exactly he gained control over that. Because here's the thing about comics in the '90s is that was a strange time for comic books. The '90s, man, they were full of crossovers and tie-ins and never-ending arcs. There were a lot of good stuff in the '90s. Don't get me wrong, man. There was just hopping in the comics during the '90s, man. Like I enjoyed a lot of it, but I really had to turn my brain off also for a lot of it when I read. Shout out to '90s comics. That's when I grew up reading.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Suffice it to say, there was definitely some wavering on all the popular parties.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But speaking though of Intelligent Hulk, real quick, that takes me back to Grey Hulk. And when I say Grey Hulk, I don't mean when they originally drew Hulk and he was just happened to be gray and then changed to green.
Yeah, we talked about this briefly beforehand. Yeah. Please do tell.
Okay, so there was a time in Bruce Banner's life where somehow he was able to not really subdue the Hulk, but he was able to come up with some kind of formula in which he would be more intelligent but less strong. And that was the Grey Hulk. That's what came out of that. And so Grey Hulk was smaller, not quite as strong, but he was more intelligent than the Hulk. And so it was kind of like a trade-off that he had for a while. And I'm not sure really how readers took to that, because that was a while ago, maybe like the 70s or the 80s when that happened. But so that was the thing that happened for a little bit. And that's just also another interesting fact, though, about the Hulk, is that, for a while he was a little bit smaller, a little gray. And this is also around the time when Wolverine had the worst disguise ever as Patch. And that's literally where he just wore an eye patch and said, "Nope, I'm not Logan. I'm not Wolverine." Never heard of that guy.
Still has the same hair.
Same hair. Yeah.
Probably a cigar in his mouth at a few points in the timeline, yeah.
But also, speaking of Wolverine, obviously, all you diehard comic book fans and collectors know that Wolverine made his first appearance in Incredible Hulk issue 180. Some actually say that it was another issue that he made his first debut in, simply because he had an ad in another comic book that came out before Hulk 180. But I don't really count that because it's an ad. It's kind of like a meta thing. It's not really canonized. So from my perspective, and from a lot of fan perspectives, Hulk 180 is when it's when Wolverine definitely made his debut. Now, this podcast obviously isn't about the Hulk, but I don't think, obviously, I'm going to say, I know that they didn't expect the Hulk or the Wolverine to blow up in popularity the way that he did. And so that was another really awesome thing there. It's like you don't really know what you have in your hands until years later, what are you looking at there?
I'm just kind of pulling it up because I remember hearing a lot of that debate as well, that he appeared in 180 or 181.
Well, no, it wasn't even the 180, 181 debate, because his first appearance was definitely 180. He doesn't say anything or do anything, but we see him like that last page. That's not even up for debate. The question was that he appeared in an ad in a different comic altogether.
Okay.
And people tried to spin that as that's actually his first appearance. But my thing is that that's more of a meta appearance.
No, let me make sure his nose is right.
True.
And it's not really there to it's not really there to get to know the character or see him in the story.
Think of it like this.
Okay, it's close
Which issue has the bigger price tag on it?
Yes,
the one where he's a frickin' ad, or the one where he's fighting the one and only Hulk? Come on.
Yeah.
Pull up issues of that. Go ahead, take time, look it up on Google. See what the cheapest issue is.
Yeah. And also, that's the thing, though, about these comic books, man, in general, is that the value in these comics, they don't lie in like any kind of retail way, but it's where the fan puts it. So when the demand for these comics go up, the price for them go up. And that's the only reason why, these things are so expensive sometimes. It's not so much like a rarity of the issue. Sure, that has a lot to do with it, how rare this comic is or that comic is, but also like what's happening in these comics as well, Yeah.
And there's a lot to be discussed for that, surely, as well. But in order to pull us back here to the Hulk, earlier we were talking about the villains and the different personage, or the different people. I'll go ahead and just say that the Hulk has encountered. You know, we talked about the Abomination slightly. We talked about friggin' Wolverine now a little bit. I mean, who are some other big names, anyone, villain, hero, whomever, that the Hulk has challenged?
Well, one more thing I want to say about the Abomination.
Oh, hit me.
Yeah, the Abomination, one leg up that he definitely had on the Hulk was that he was able to retain more intelligence than our standard big green buddy. So that's definitely one other thing about the Abomination. And I always really liked that, and that's one thing I enjoyed about the 2008 Hulk film. I think it was 08, 07, 08.
Yeah, you got it. Oh, wait, The Incredible Hulk. Edward Norton, right?
Edward Norton.
Yeah, Edward Norton.
Yeah. But, yeah, so Abomination was in that, and they had some really cool, badass fight scenes. And for me, like, that really brought out, like the inner kid nerd in me again, because, like, when we think about these big over-the-top battles, I love that. And Abomination, the Hulk, is just one of those things where, like, once you read it in the comics, you're like, that'd be really badass if you could see that, you know, in the movies. And we were able to see that. Another notable enemy, I would say, is definitely Red Hulk.
Yeah.
And he's actually kind of changed, allegiances over the years. I don't really think he's so much a bad guy.
I wouldn't either.
Not anymore.
I think at first, and this is me spitballing here, so don't take me seriously.
Okay.
But I think at first he was just really pissed off that his daughter was seeing the Hulk. And he's just like, no, and then poof, he's Hulk.
No, look at me, I'm Hulk.
I'm red and angry.
I'm red and angry. So let's pull up information here on Red Hulk here. Okay, General Ross. Yeah, so when the Red Hulk first became a big thing, I was like, General Ross, really? You hypocrite.
Good point.
Yeah, like you spend all this time hunting down the Hulk and all this and that, hunting down Bruce Banner, telling your daughter you can't date that savage or whatever, and then you go and you turn yourself into a Hulk. That's you hypocrite, you. And also one other thing I had. One of the questions I had though about Red Hulk was that, what happens to your mustache when you transform? Because I have no idea where that thing goes.
That is a great point, actually, because I'm looking at a picture of him now.
Oh, you have a picture?
Yeah. I mean, look at this dude right here. He's got the great mustache going on here, Yeah. And then all of a sudden, bam, he's, naked upper lip.
Yeah. Like, what happened to that mustache? It's just gone.
I mean, he's got the same hair up top, it looks like. I mean, he's wearing a hat as a general, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, it looks still like the military cut. He just loses the stash. I want to see a stashed Hulk now.
My guess here is that, and this is just me thinking about this from a more meta aspect, is that maybe they didn't show his mustache because, like, well, then they probably know who he is before we have our big reveal,
Yeah, good point.
And also, maybe they drew him with the mustache, like, no, that looks really strange.
I can actually see that, too. Yeah. Like, he's just like, and the mustache is big and buff. He's sitting there flexing, like, showing off the guns, hair guns.
Okay, that's right. That's a little ridiculous.
That's where they draw the line, and they erase.
So, how does it say that Red Hulk came to be here?
I'm reading down on him real quick. Let's see. Okay, so essentially, all right. So Ross actually began being a huge military force. Not that he didn't already have a very prestigious rank, but he began his a majority of his military career as Hulk, hunting the Hulk in what the Pentagon labeled Operation Hulk. He even got the Pentagon's okay for this, like, hey, go ahead, man. And then, after Banner's identity became public knowledge, it looks like Ross even still continued his pursuit. And then, I'm trying to find it, guys, but if you know, again, go ahead and comment here.
So General Ross became the Red Hulk, right?
Yeah, he definitely. Yeah. No, I mean that.
I'm just-
Okay. Wait, we're wrong.
Yeah, I'm just talking shit now.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's cool. So, here's a little factoid I did not know. Ross actually did approve the marriage of Banner to Betty. Yeah. It was only after Banner got control of the Hulk where Ross was like, okay, you can do it. You can marry my daughter. Yeah.
And I mean, again, like General Ross, he's a guy that never really. I was going to say this before Kevin read a little factoid, but never really cared for Bruce Banner because he was this raging lunatic monster, the Hulk. And just so happened, of course, that his daughter's little girl, Betty Ross, falls in love with Bruce Banner, and they create this whole little scenario here where it's like, well, what really happens now?
Oh, I got it finally. Okay, so it looks like it was a last resort idea of Ross. So we all know that General Ross was on Operation Hulk now, and we know that he definitely had a deep hatred on, I'm gonna dare say personal level, what with some familial ties there.
He had that, what I would call it, that Banner boner.
I like that. Banner boner. Make it a t-shirt. Anywho, before my mind goes down that path, so it looks like he used the help of AIM, AIM, and Intelligentsia in order to become the Red Hulk. Like, they turned him into this so he could finally be on equal footing with the Hulk, thus being able to finally succeed in Operation Hulk.
Yeah. AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics, the same group that made MODOK. And if you don't know who MODOK is, then Google a picture of him if you want to have a good laugh.
Yo. Wonder when that character was made. He's got to be like an early character.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about MODOK exactly when it was created. But anyway, so we have the Red Hulk here. And the Red Hulk, I think he really blew up in fame like around 06, 07 was when he really started to take off. Maybe a little bit sooner. You just found something there?
Yeah, I did. Okay. So there was more than one Red Hulk, dude. Did you know that?
Who was the other
I
Red
did
Hulk?
not. Okay.
I just thought of General Ross when I thought of Red Hulk.
Robert Maverick became a variation of Red Hulk when he joined the U.S. Avengers. Yeah, that's really cool. I did not know that. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so, and it reads here, unlike the Thunderbolt Ross version of the Red Hulk, this one kept his mustache. What? I gotta find a picture of that. Where is this at?
Oh,
right.
jeez. I mean, I guess the mustache makes the man in that case. I don't know.
Yes, look at this. Yes. What? Look at that.
And he's got aviators.
He's got
on.
aviators. That's the shit, dude.
Oh, jeez.
That looks cool to me. I mean, come on, guys. And this is the good guy Hulk. He's with the Avengers right now. Oh, this is fun.
To each his own, I guess.
Wait. Even better. Look at this. Look at the cover. Look at that.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Yep. So this is an exhilarating podcast right now. Let's talk about pictures.
Yep. I know you guys can't look at it. Go ahead and type it in. Type in Robert Maverick Hulk, and you'll find the images. I promise you, it's great. Anywho.
Yep. So let's see. So far we've talked about a little bit about Wolverine. Obviously, that's a character that I'm pretty sure you're pretty familiar with.
Oh yes, indeed.
And we talked a little bit about Abomination as well. Now there's actually a different character called A-Bomb. I'm gonna pull him up.
A-Bomb.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know if we need to be picky, but is there a hyphen in that?
Probably.
Hey, yeah. What?
Yeah, that's Rick Jones. That's what I said. Like Rick Jones, I haven't heard that name in quite some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm learning so much tonight. All right, he's Rick Jones.
Not to be confused with Rick James. Damn it.
Please don't be confused with it. I know I just made the joke, but anywho.
Even though he is a super freak.
Nah.
I get plus 12 corny points for that.
Ding.
Yeah, so Rick Jones actually became like another, I guess, metahuman, so to speak. And he had his own little transformation. And so he's another Hulk-like creature known as A-Bomb. And actually, not to be confused with Abomination. I can see why you would make that correlation, because I did at first. But yeah, A-Bomb and Abomination are two completely different beings.
Dude, this kid had the life, man. So I'm reading up on a few of his powers and abilities and his origin. So we know that in the original storyline, Rick Jones was saved by Bruce Banner. Well, apparently this kid later on received training in combat gymnastics, where he was trained by the one and only Captain Frickin' America. Like, this dude's the shit, man.
Yeah.
He's just like, man, I met the Hulk, I met Captain America. I mean, if I keep reading, it might even say he had martinis with Tony Stark. I don't know. I'm not going to say he did, though, because I'm going to keep reading now. Interesting. Okay. Wow, okay, so it gets into a lot of detail here. I'm going to try to paraphrase a bit of it. So, other than being a talented combat gymnastics person and apparently a skilled folk rock and roll singer and guitarist, he at one point had the Destiny Force, which was a powerful ability to perform basically... That's really cool. Holy crap. So he basically had the power to pull forth any power from the Avengers past. Like, he could pull forth any ability that any superhero team member of the Avengers had, you know, or, oh, wow, past, present, and future. Which, what the heck? That's a really cool power. Utilized more so during the Kree-Skrull War storyline, apparently. But, yeah, it's kind of random, it looks like here more so. But the dude kind of trying to see when he actually becomes A-Bomb. Looking it up. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so apparently the same organization that created the Red Hulk, Intelligentsia, actually took on our boy Rick Jones and did some experiments on him. You know, not unlike the Weapon X experimentation that went on. And through those experiments, he gained the ability to transform into a creature resembling the Abomination, aka A-Bomb. There goes the name too, right there. Clever. Cool.
Very much so. But you know, we see all these other heroes or heroes and villains that are similar to Hulk in nature. You know, two different Red Hulks, Abomination, A-Bomb. But here's the thing about the Hulks, that he hasn't obviously just fought other Hulk-like beings, but he's fought a lot of other beings as well. And so right now, Kevin, just to change this podcast up a little bit, I'm gonna throw some names at you here. And I want you to tell me whether or not you think this person can be the Hulk.
Hit me.
Okay.
This is gonna be fun.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to start off Sentry.
Yes, he fought them.
No, can he beat him?
Oh, can he beat him?
Can the Hulk beat him? Yeah.
Final answer, yes.
That's your final answer.
Yes.
Well, listeners, I also want to know what you think, whether or not the Hulk can beat Sentry. Very interesting. Okay, we're going to move on to the next one real quick. Superman.
I don't even like Superman, so I'm gonna say yes. And that's pure bias.
Yeah,
that's my only reason.
That's bias.
Exactly.
That is bias.
Not to diss my Superman fans out there. He's a great superhero. He's just personally not the one I would choose in like my top 5. You know, come on. But Yeah, I don't know. Seriously, I'm still gonna go with yes. Yeah, just because I think you're trying to throw me through a loop here.
Thor.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, whoa, ooh. The movies might be tainting that actually. I can't have every answer be yes, but yes, I think it is.
Batman.
Dadgummit, dude. What? When did he ever fight Batman? Although I think Batman would win in that case. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Batman's got contingency plans for his extra contingency plans, okay? I mean, come on. Especially if it's like one of the earlier versions of the Hulk where he's like not fully there intellectually. I think Batman could out-trick that sucker. That's my throwdown for that. That's what's going on over here.
All right. So, listeners, so far, I just want to give you guys a quick recap here of Kevin's answers of this survey so far.
I better not be all wrong.
So, it's Sentry, no. It's Thor, no. Superman, no. Batman, yeah.
Wait, I was entirely wrong?
No, I was just recapping your answers.
Oh, wait, okay, you said them in reverse then. Okay, because, yeah, so, to clarify, I said Hulk can beat Sentry, right? Okay, cool. Just making sure
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So, what's the final verdict?
Oh, the final verdict is that really there is none. I just want to pick your brain and see what you thought.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. But I mean, me personally, my thoughts on just those picks really quick is that Sentry would beat Hulk.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, the Sentry is overpowered, definitely, yeah.
My thoughts also is that, well, Hulk is overpowered, so we can't really have that debate on that.
Oh, no, not even a debate. No,
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to go down that road, no. But that makes sense, yeah. Overall.
I believe that Superman would also beat Hulk.
Nope. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. Where's the red button? I stand by my opinions, damn it.
Thor is a little bit of a toss-up here because
Yeah.
now I'm doing a lot of comic book math right now. Because I remember Thor and Sentry fighting and what's the name of that comic book run? I have it right over there. It's one of my favorites. Jeez, what's the name of that comic book?
Oh,
Siege. Siege. They fought
not
in
what I was going to
Siege.
say.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, it's a good thing I came with the answer.
Yep, indeed. I was going to say, Dark Avengers or something, but no. Okay.
Well, Siege was kind of like the end result of all that. But yeah, so Thor and Sentry fought in Siege, and Sentry beat the hell out of Thor. It was bad.
Okay.
So with that being said, also, I don't know, because it doesn't really tell me though the result of Hulk and Thor.
Right. Yeah.
It's a toss up here.
I could get a coin. I mean,
I feel like Thor would have to end that one pretty soon. He would have to end the fight as quickly as possible.
Right.
The longer the fight goes on, I feel like the worse his chances would get.
and before you continue on, we can't trust what the movies are showing in that case because
I'm not going off the movies here.
Right, but I'm just speaking to the audience at this point, the listeners, because if you go off what the movies are doing, I feel like every conflict we've seen between the Hulk and Thor has been more comical. Like, oh, the funny scene in Avengers where the Hulk randomly punches Thor and he's flying off the screen.
Well, I mean, they had the non-comedic fight scene earlier in that movie. Where they were on the
Gotta
sugar
remember,
area.
gotta go back.
Come on, that was a badass fight scene.
Gotta go back. Yeah, I do remember that actually. Never mind, you're right, yeah. That's true. And yeah, the Hulk was trying to lift Mjolnir and he couldn't do it yet.
He couldn't do it, yeah, couldn't do it.
Cool.
And that's one thing I appreciated that, because if he picks up freaking Mjolnir, I'm gonna flip some shit in this theater.
Thank you. But not in the studio.
Yeah, not in the studio. Yeah. So with Hulk versus Thor, my answer is maybe, but Thor probably wouldn't win.
It'd probably be more like the outcome of the Wolverine and Hulk fights, 'Cause
So you think Hulk would win?
no, in some cases, Wolverine was able to incapacitate Hulk, not beat him, but basically make it so he couldn't Hulk out. I remember I thought in one case he fought the Hulk to a point where he turned back into Bruce Banner. Am I wrong on that? Where am I pulling that from? If I am,
I don't know where that's coming from.
yeah, I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
I'll do my research.
Yeah.
I don't want to just be stupid here.
But just in, from what I've seen and read, yeah, Hulk all day long. Wolverine has what it takes to survive the encounter. But as far as beating the Hulk, no.
I don't know. Feel free to comment and, educate me if that's the case, listeners.
And here's the thing, I'm proud to say I'm at a point now in my comic book life where I can set my biases aside for everyone except for Batman, who said that. And so when I think about these fights, I'm a huge fan of Wolverine, maybe even more so than the Hulk. But I can honestly say, Hulk every time is just going to demolish Wolverine. Right. I mean, he's going to get stabbed with the pricky fingers of Wolverine. And it's just going to piss him off.
Right.
But to get to the last one, you said Hulk versus Batman. Actually, there was a crossover done, and Batman did indeed beat the Hulk.
Okay, so I got that right. Hell yeah. And I hope, you and the listeners know that, that wasn't coming from a bias, for me, because Batman is the shit, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, that's literally what I was thinking. I haven't seen that crossover. I didn't know about it till just now. I thought you were actually pulling that from a hard list, by the way.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, even with the Wolverine and Hulk fight, it wasn't a bias. I know definitely the Hulk has thrown our boy Wolvie cross friggin' state and said, all right, screw you,
I think
you're
it was
a cloud.
actually in the Ultimate Universe where he really did rip Wolverine in half.
Oh, damn, dude, that's some shit. Adamantium all, man, screw this.
Hulk is the strongest there is.
Yeah.
So now let's kind of talk about the Hulk and TV and media.
Yep.
So you have anything pulled up there?
I do, actually, yeah. So Hulk we see hitting the screen for the first time in the 70s, played by Bill Baxby and Lou Ferrigno.
Lou Ferrigno, that's right. Bill Baxby, I couldn't think of his name.
That was the banner, I imagine.
Yeah,
because obviously Lou is our famous Hulk guy.
Yeah, used to be a bodybuilder.
And he's appeared in not only the Hulk movie, but did he appear in Incredible Hulk?
Yeah, he appeared in
the 2003.
I thought it was the Edward Norton version. He was like a security guard.
Oh no, I know he was a security guard in
Avengers.
Hulk. No, he was in the Hulk 2003 movie. I know I remember seeing him.
Okay. He was though in Avengers.
Really?
He did the voice of Hulk.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
when he
so
said,
sick.
Puny God. That was Lou. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. So that's pretty badass.
That is badass. Yeah. Lou is still making money off of that. Yeah. Hell yeah. It makes me happy.
Hell yeah. And this was a lot of people's first introduction to the character was the show. When did it premiere? Back in the 70s?
That was in the 70s. Yeah.
Do you have an exact date there?
No, not an exact date. Mm-hmm. No. But apparently it went on for some time. So, heck yeah. I would like to say I've watched a full episode. Unfortunately, I've only seen clips of cool scenes from the series. Yeah. But
I have seen a lot of the series.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and if you remember last podcast, we talked about the crossover with Thor and Hulk, and I remember also seeing that as well on TV because it was the same format, same thing, and so that was also really cool to see. But it was really cool to see that back then, and I think about a lot of the superhero TV shows or movies from back then that succeeded versus ones that didn't. Hulk, I would definitely say, as far as the TV comic book shows go, was the most successful. Well, maybe not the most. He's up there with the Adam West Batman or the Linda Carter Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I'd give him a success too. I'd give him thumbs up.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he was definitely a super success. There's no doubt.
More so than the Thor one, I would say.
Well, I mean, the Thor, it was like a crossover event.
Yeah. So it wasn't. Yeah.
It was Thor and Hulk. It was.
That's right. We did talk about that. He did only appear in an episode. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He had a weird look to him. Go ahead and Google it.
One interesting side fact that I remember hearing about this series was that Lou Ferrigno was saying that he had a lot of fun playing the character, but one thing he didn't like was the wig that he had to wear as the Hulk. That was a funny looking hairpiece I remember he had to wear, and come to find out that thing was made of yak fur.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how many poor yaks had to die for the Hulk to be...
the only one. A yak per episode.
Oh, geez. Well, they're probably close to extinction now.
They're not coming back. Yakety yak.
Oh, okay. Damn.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
But then we have our boy Hulk being played by a few other people eventually too. Do we want to get into that yet?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. Eric Bana, you already mentioned him. That's 2003 Hulk.
Yep, Ang Lee's Hulk.
Yep. And then we have Edward Norton, who played a very cool Hulk.
Let's talk about the 03 version here for a second.
Backing up.
Yep, let's back it up for a second here. So we have Ang Lee's version of the Hulk. There were a lot of people excited about this one, myself included, because in 03, you guys got to remember here, in 03, we were in this time period where superhero movies were really trying to create their own footing. And for every successful movie, we had an unsuccessful movie back in these days. So around this time frame, and it really started in like the 99, 2000 era, and it carried on for a while. And then it really didn't pick up, though, until Iron Man in 2008. It was when it was like, okay, it's here.
Yep.
But so in like 99, 2000, we have Blade. And Blade was a really good movie, really successful movie. It was rated R, but it really didn't give it that footing that the studios really wanted for it to be like a mainstream appeal. Then shortly thereafter we have X-Men, very first X-Men movie, and I remember seeing that in theater with my father, and that was an incredible experience for me, seeing the X-Men on TV or on the big screen for the first time. I was like, this is incredible. What is happening to my body right now?
I remember seeing the same thing, not the body bit, but the movie.
and then we comic book movie just really blew up with Spider-Man in 2002, and of course we had Tobey Maguire, and that was a huge ass box office success, and that was like damn, and that was like 2002, and they're like, well shoot, yeah, we're doing this. And like I said, Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man was way up there. And I'm pointing up here in like the stratosphere for those of you listening.
Yep, he's just moving his finger around that stratosphere.
And then we have 2003 Ang Lee's Hulk, which I think did decent numbers, but it met not so good reviews from critics and fans alike.
Well, in that movie's defense, it did try something that I don't recall being done as much as this movie tried to do. If you recall, the movie played out in like a panel-to-panel format. Yeah, and it was like, okay, that's kind of cool. A little distracting at times, And then, of course, there was a lot of other shit wrong with the movie, don't get me wrong. But it was still kind of interesting to watch a comic book movie through the eyes of the panel, I thought that was pretty interesting itself. I personally enjoyed the movie. If I went back and watched it now, I probably would say, oh wait, there's some weird stuff going on here. I watched it when it was brand new in 2003, aka when I was 13. But yeah.
Oh, see, that's the thing. Like even as a kid, when I watched that movie, I was like, this is boring, because there's nothing going on. I mean, really, like from memory, besides the gamma ray dogs, what did he do?
I liked the dude at the end, quote unquote Bruce Banner's dad.
Yeah, his dad, Nick Nolte's character.
Yeah, I liked how he could like absorb and become the element he was nearest to, or something.
He became a weird version of the Absorbing Man, which is another Hulk villain.
Right.
And that was kind of strange.
Very much so, yeah. But I thought it looked cool. Like, oh shit, he's becoming elements.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know. It's like that. Because I oftentimes I think about what that movie could have done differently to be better. And well, there were a couple of things. One, I think that maybe the technology just wasn't there yet. That's one thing. I think they would have done a lot more with the Hulk and action scenes and all that if the technology was better. But even then, the CG just didn't look good.
Yeah,
it didn't look good at all.
I will say this: memory did just pop into my head. I think they would have also done better if they didn't try to have so many human moments with the Hulk. Do you remember that? Like out on the Red Rocks, you'd like look at the flowers and like, and he wouldn't be angry Hulk. He'd be like contemplative looking Hulk, as if he was making some some philosophy or something. Like, what is this? Yeah,
like Hulk, no meaning of life now.
Hulk like lizard, Hulk like flower. Yeah, like okay, this is a weird Hulk. Yeah.
I guess I kind of see where Aang was trying to go with that, but it didn't really land home.
No, definitely not.
Didn't
But
really.
then we got our next Hulk movie, which came out 5 years later, The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, 2008 Incredible Hulk. This movie was done really well. Do you have the director's name written down? Because I don't know who directed it.
No, I don't know who directed that one. I don't know. We can look it up real quick.
Yeah. So what I really liked about this movie, though, was that they played it really, really well because it was kind of like a soft reboot. They didn't exactly acknowledge the previous one, but they didn't deny it either. And so when this movie starts off, of course, Bruce Banner, he's technically already the Hulk, and it starts off with him really trying to think about, or really trying to control the Hulk, so to speak. So he's doing things like meditation and all that, trying to get the Hulk under control. And it's played by our boy Edward Norton, who I really, really enjoyed.
Oh, crap.
What was that?
I got the director's name pulled up. He's very French. Louis, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read it French. So, Louis Letellier. Say it with me.
Kevin just had a seizure, folks. I
Letellier.
gotta take him to the hospital now.
Pause. But Letellier. There we go.
There you go. Yeah.
Letellier.
Yeah. I will leave that
sexy.
to you.
Go and try to say it real quick. Say it.
Did you just call that man sexy?
No, I said the name was sexy.
Teach his own, Kevin.
You dick. All right.
So that's the director of the Hulk.
Take that.
Louis L. is what I'll call him.
You American. You're American. Put my cigarette out in the Eiffel Tower.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so about this version of Hulk, Edward Norton's version, I really enjoyed this. Of course, aesthetically, the movie looked so much better than Ang Lee's 2003 version. But also, even more than that, like to me, the story and the plot came together a whole lot better as well. Some things were still a little confusing, like as far as like how did Emil become Abomination. I do remember the iconic scene of Emil. He was like some kind of military specialist in the movie, and he goes up to the Hulk, and it's not Bruce Banner, but he walks up to the Hulk, and he starts talking shit, and then Hulk doesn't say anything, but Hulk's like "fuck you," and then he kicks him, and when he kicks him, like Emil's lifeless body just flies and plummets into the side of a tree and just collapses into like a damn. And then, like, they're able to recover him. Like, the only way that we can save his life is if we do this to him. And then it makes him Abomination. Now, it's been a while since I've seen the movie,
right.
but I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah.
But the end result was great, so I didn't care.
Yeah, that's true. I will say this, though. Don't forget, he was also badass with that freaking grenade launcher. He was just, popping caps like it was no big deal. Like, this is going to work.
Well, he was badass with everything he did, except when the Hulk kicked the shit out of him.
Yeah. Tim Roth, the actor who played the Abomination, I gotta say, he did a fantastic job. I personally like his work.
Tim Roth is a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
So yeah, most definitely. But yeah, that movie as a whole I thought was really cool too. It did have, like you said, one of those human moments in it with the Hulk escaping one scene with Betty Ross in tow, and then they go to like this little cave area, and it's dark and it's raining, and like they kind of have this moment. Not a snoo moment.
Not a snoo.
No.
Okay.
No.
It's been a while since I've seen the movie, so I just recall bits and pieces personally. I don't recall the new snoo cave scene.
Here's another piece of trivia for you.
Bad,
do you know that Luke Cage was in that movie?
What? Mm-hmm. Wait. The actor who portrayed Luke Cage, or the actual hero Luke Cage himself?
There was a cameo from the character Luke Cage in the movie.
What? That's sick.
Yeah. And here's another piece of trivia. Do you know who played Luke Cage?
C.T. Fletcher. Final answer. No. That'd be a pretty aggressive Luke Cage.
Yeah, see, if C.T. Fletcher played the Hulk, then he would look at the Hulk and be like, I command you to grow, motherfucker, and all kinds of stuff like that.
Actually, I'd pay to watch that. For real. He'd make the Hulk go work out still.
You ain't tired? Keep going. Don't put that shit down. Just...
we all need a C.T. Fletcher in our life.
But no, it was not C.T. Fletcher. It was actually DMX.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's the shit, dude.
I need to go back and see
Yeah.
those movies.
Cage gonna give it to you.
Again.
Oh my gosh. I kind of wish now, and I don't want to sidetrack too much here, because
Yeah.
damn it, we're sidetracking a lot tonight. But I kind of wish that in Luke Cage, the Marvel series, they used a DMX song just as like a little Easter egg, you know? Come on. You could have given that to us.
Oh man, I don't know. I think that Deadpool maybe solely that option.
Oh, that's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Maybe a different DMX song, because he's got more than gonna give it to you.
Oh
Come
yeah,
on,
the
you know.
DMX is one of the most underrated rappers of all time.
Oh yeah,
Um,
he's quite fun to listen to in the gym.
oh yeah. But
Anywho.
moving on here. So yeah, the Incredible Hulk
So
movie
now
though. Once
I got
again,
George
I
Pinkdale.
thoroughly enjoyed that one, and it was a huge step up from Ang Lee's Hulk, and I thought it was really what
Is
the first Hulk should have been more like.
texture,
And you know, I get it.
Yeah.
Origin movies are hard to do. You know,
detail.
in Ang Lee's defense, origin movies is really hard to pull off sometimes because you know you have to get the story in there, but you also have to give the people something entertaining to watch. You know, so shout out to Christopher Nolan for giving us the Dark Knight trilogy.
I love how you worked that in there.
Oh yeah, but so moving on from
moving on from
Lewis L's Hulk.
we got our 2008 bad boy, and then we don't see the Hulk again until Mark Ruffalo.
Yep.
Now, here's a question I did want to get into here, because it matters a little bit what with the politics and the laws set aside for these characters.
Yeah.
Which studios created the Ang Lee Hulk, and then the Edward Norton Hulk, or the Lewis T. Or Lewis L. Thank you. I forgot his last name already. I thought it was Terrier.
Like Lettier.
Lettier.
Yeah.
Lettier.
He's seized up again.
But yeah, which studios created these different Hulks? Because we know the last one belongs to Marvel.
Actually, no, it doesn't.
Really?
Legendary.
Oh, do
Yeah.
tell.
So the company that technically owns the right to the Hulk is Legendary Films.
Okay. So
And,
how are we using it in the Marvel, I wonder, then?
Well, the same way that Marvel used Spider-Man, because technically Sony still owns Spider-Man.
True.
And that's the reason why Hulk doesn't have his own movie. It's because the rights are still technically owned by Legendary, so they're pretty much like paying rent for the character Hulk right now. And he can't really have his own standalone movie.
Dang. Well, that answers that question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Unfortunately. But, I mean, we're kind of getting the next place thing here. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. So let's just stick with 2012's The Avengers right now, where we have Mark Ruffalo portraying the Hulk. At first, I'm not going to lie, I was a little upset that we were getting a different character to play the Hulk. Because I enjoyed Edward Norton's portrayal of Bruce Banner / Hulk a lot. And I was like, I don't know if you guys can do better than this. And and actually, the rumor goes, and I can't insinuate the word rumor enough, but the rumor goes that the reason Edward Norton wasn't brought back was that he asked for too much money too soon. But also the rumor goes is that a lot of the actors in Avengers 1 didn't get paid shit. So yeah.
Really?
If your name wasn't Scarlett Johansson or Robert Downey Jr., you didn't get paid shit in Avengers 1. Yeah. It was something extremely measly for most actors, like $200,000 versus, Robert Downey's something like $20 million haul. Scarlett Johansson's like $13 or $17 million haul. Something
Damn.
like that.
That's some prejudice. And it did eventually get better. But in their defense, I mean, Chris Evans was kind of like a last-minute pick, if I recall. Like, he wasn't going to be Captain America until a week before filming. Originally, they had...
Well, before filming what, Captain America 1, you mean?
Right.
Okay.
In that case,
Yeah, but by the time that Avengers came around...
No, he was already Captain America, yeah. But, yeah, good point. I guess I'm pulling from a different movie trivia there. So, never mind there. But,
But yeah, I digress. Just another rare factoid.
At least Captain America didn't flame on, right?
Oh, jeez.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Ooh-wee.
Ooh-wee. But yeah, so what do you think about Mark Ruffalo in the Avengers?
Personally, I enjoyed it, I thought that Mark Ruffalo did a pretty good Bruce Banner. Far better than the original Bruce Banner that we saw being portrayed in the movies. Eric Bana. I liked honestly, one thing I also enjoyed, the dynamic we got to watch between Bruce Banner and Tony Stark more so. You know, I thought Mark Ruffalo did a good job with Robert in that degree, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a good chemistry together. And he did a good job improvising those food scenes with them, you know? Like, oh, you did a good job. Here's a blueberry. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, for me, Mark Ruffalo, like, I enjoyed him more than I thought I would.
Can I pause real quick? Say his last name again?
Ruffalo.
And I'm saying...
You saying Ruffalo.
Man, why didn't you correct me, man? I've been saying that for a straight minute. Screw you again. Ruffalo. Damn it, Mark Ruffalo, people. That's his name. Don't listen to me. Listen to me now.
That sentence didn't make any sense.
It did to them. Okay. I hope it made sense to you guys, seriously. But anyways, let's get back on track here. Please resume.
Okay. So yeah, like I was saying, I really enjoyed this performance in this movie, more so than I thought I would. Because no homo, but when I was watching him, I was kind of mesmerized. Like, damn, like he's doing a really good job. He is killing this right now. But yeah, I also enjoyed the fact that he also did like the motion caption work for the Hulk. I believe that was the first time that this was done. At least to my knowledge, it was. I don't think that was done in the 08 version. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say we'd have to look that up again because I'm not sure. But that's awesome. So he put on like the green suit with the balls all over it for the CG work essentially.
Yeah, and I remember like some of the behind the scenes stuff and all that, like some of the additional commentary, and like all the actors and producers were like, "Yeah, poor Mark had to wear that suit."
Yep.
And he's still wearing it.
He still is. Yep.
But yeah, he's I have no problem saying like, yeah, that guy's my Hulk now because he freaking killed it, man. And shout out to Joss Whedon for of course Avengers 1, and really enjoyed like the first scene we see in the movie with Bruce Banner and Black Widow. You know, she's coming to get him and all that, and then you know he's kind of toying with a little bit like, you know, he's gonna Hulk out, is he not? And then you know Marvel does this thing where they don't like to really call the characters by their names,
right?
Except for Thor. You know, like we hear Iron Man a few times. We don't hear Captain America that often. We
just hear Cap. Yeah.
And with the Hulk, we don't really hear the Hulk either. He also refers to the Hulk as the other guy. You know, we don't want to meet the other guy yet.
Right. Yeah. I can't remember. Does he drop the classic Bruce Banner line? You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. I think he drops it to a degree, like he adds a variance to it or something.
I think he does.
I think so.
I think he does. And just a side note here, if in Infinity War, if Captain America doesn't assemble the Avengers, I'm going to be so upset.
For real.
Like, why has this man not said Avengers Assemble yet?
Not only that shit, but he stole the Hulk's catchphrase. Hulk smash. And it's like, no, that's some corny shit, Cap. You can't do that, okay?
I know. I mean, I get it. I understand that on multiple senses. For one thing, it definitely got a laugh from the audience. And also, like, in a non-meta sense, like, it's hard to direct the Hulk in a way that he can really understand what you want him to do.
True.
You know?
I mean, it worked off organically. Don't get me wrong. It also worked off in a very corny fashion. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I got you.
I mean, good job, Chris Evans, for pulling off the line. I mean, you could have done a worse job.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. Most definitely.
You're cool, Chris Evans.
Yep. Be on our podcast.
Please.
But, so I really enjoyed Hulk in Avengers 1 because they really made a big deal about the Hulk. You know, he wasn't nerfed, really. He wasn't really played down that much. I mean, don't get me wrong, his power set was nerfed in the sense that he didn't, you know, he wasn't World Destroyer Hulk. But, you know, he also didn't struggle to take down simple bad guys either, you know. And so and when the Hulk finally made his appearance, like, it really meant something.
Right.
You know, and we immediately see him take on Thor in that awesome-ass fight scene on the helicarrier that we referred to earlier.
The one that I might have perfectly remembered, if you remember correctly, fans. You know,
you completely forgot that shit.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anywho.
Oh, yeah.
So, do we want to move on to the future yet, or is there any other thoughts you had?
Well, I guess the one other thing I wanted to talk about just a little bit here was the one scene in Avengers when he comes back for the final climactic battle, and
on a moped.
On a moped,
yeah, on
yeah.
a friggin' moped.
Yeah. and you know he drops the line, well, that's the secret. I'm always angry. And then he hulks out. I guess that caused some confusion. Like at the time in the theater, I was like, that was really awesome. But when I left the theater, I was like, I don't get it.
I kind of did, you know.
Well, I mean, he says that's the secret. I'm always angry, and then he's able to Hulk out then and do his thing.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm like, so you could do this the whole time?
I don't know. The way I chose to think about it, and you know, people can freely disagree if you want, but the way I looked at it was, you know, Bruce Banner was that pushover smart kid, you know. Oh, he's Bruce Banner, he's the nerd, whatever. And so it was kind of like that bottled up rage factor. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, you know what, I know this anger is here, and now I can definitely use it to get the other guy out. And so it's like he's always angry, he just has that bottled rage factor going for him. You know? Not to overanalyze it either, but that's me.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Also the sense, like, in that scene, he didn't really seem that angry.
Also, yes. That also comes off as confusing, because it's like, well,
Yeah.
what do you got to be angry about?
Yeah.
Was your moped ride bumpy? Come on, man. True. I guess in that case it would be bumpy, because, you know, shit was breaking, crumbling, gravel everywhere. I mean, he's just
Yeah.
like,
Sure.
you know.
And
Sound
then
effects
also,
included.
there's the cost of Bruce Banner's overall attire. Like, I mean, you're going to have to get... I don't know what you need to wear, man. Like, I got no advice for you.
He busts more clothes than Luke Cage.
Well, to be fair, other people typically, you know, break Luke Cage clothes.
Actually, in that regard, just a quick factoid here, not to distract us too much, but I read this earlier when we were pulling up his page. So the Hulk apparently eventually is wearing something called Banner Tech. Clothes Banner made specifically for the Hulk. That way when he hulks out, he knows his clothes are gone, and, you know.
That is an extremely intelligent idea.
It really is. And that's why we see on some comic issues the Hulk wearing what look like metallic pants.
Like the metal pants.
Those are Banner Tech things. In fact, sometimes the technology were, like, embedded with powers, essentially. Like, you know, technological powers in a sense, you know. I didn't read up on too many of those. I felt like the Hulk already has enough powers that he doesn't need, you know, like a teleporter watch or something.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that they had something cool lined up in the belt. Or the pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he never needed shoes.
I mean, well, I guess what... I don't know. If I were Bruce Banner, I would also create Hulk shoes, too, because shoes can be expensive, man.
What kind of shoes would they be?
I mean, he had to make his own shoes.
Well, I mean, what fashion would they look like? You know, like what would you choose your Hulk shoes to be if you were, you know, Hulk Q right now? Q Hulk.
I would get the most technological scientists I could and pair them with Timberlands and get me to make an awesome set of Timbs that I can wear and kick ass.
That'd be pretty kick-ass. It really would. I like that. Okay. And listeners, please comment on what you would like your Hulk shoe to be. We get someone that who says Converse, like, oh,
Hulk Converse.
yeah, that's what I was trying to imagine. Like, oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, so...
Hulk air pumps. He's just down there.
Yeah. Hulk jump farther now.
Now he's going into the higher Earth atmosphere and cross 2 continents. All right, I digress.
Okay.
Let's do some shit.
So let's move on here. We the last thing that I really wanted to talk about was Planet Hulk / Ragnarok. Yeah. So as we discussed earlier a little bit, unfortunately due to like legal standings and whatnot, the Hulk underneath the Marvel umbrella really can't have his own movie, at least not yet. Which is why he's being so heavily featured in Thor Ragnarok, which I think is a great fit for him.
Yep.
Now, in Age of Ultron, they loosely mentioned the fact that Bruce Banner, you know, stole some kind of helicarrier or some kind of ship, and that he's traveling somewhere. They didn't really allude to where, but you know, now we know that he's he's not with Thor, but he's going to end up with Thor in Ragnarok. Now, the interesting thing about Thor Ragnarok, though, is that even though, like, the name of it you know, it sounds like it's going to be part of course, a giant Thor storyline, being Thor's movie, But during the trailer, we see the gladiator scene, and then Thor's are waiting to do battle, and Hulk emerges in the gladiator arena in this trailer, and we see the Hulk in garb that is almost spot on in as what he's wearing in Planet Hulk. And the Planet Hulk storyline, if you haven't read it, is a really, really awesome storyline. It's one in which the Hulk he's tricked into doing the mission for Nick Fury to save the Earth from I forget what. But the main point of this is that while he's in space, Doctor Strange, Mr. Fantastic, and Iron Man, they come up with a plan to send him to another planet. And on this planet that he's supposed to go to is supposed to be completely inhabited with vegetation and with food for him to eat and whatnot, and completely livable, but there's no intelligent life form on the planet that he's supposed to go to. So when they're sending him in this ship towards this planet, unfortunately, something happens, and a warp hole opens, and the Hulk is sucked into that warp hole, and so he doesn't land on the planet that he's supposed to go to. Now, before I go any further, with this synopsis, it's easy to think that Iron Man and Doctor Strange and Mr. Fantastic, those guys are dicks for just shooting the Hulk out into space, without his permission or anything like that. But the thing of it is, though, is that and I believe it's Tony that's speaking during this little monologue piece, and he says something along the lines of, I've always considered us friends, Bruce. We've always been friends, but we really have to do this, not just for our own protection, but for yours. Something along those lines. And, you look at it from their perspective, and it's a hard decision to make. But, they really couldn't keep him around. And thus begins this awesome story. And so the Hulk lands on a planet called Sakaar. Sakaar. Sakaar.
Cool.
And
good spelling.
Yep. And it's on this planet where he's... And they do a really good job of explaining this. He's weakened because the warp hole that he goes through is meant to weaken people to land on this planet, on planet Sakaar. And while he's on this planet, he still smashes things at first, but he's taken down fairly quickly. And what's interesting now at this point is that he is still in Hulk form, and throughout pretty much the entire comic, throughout the entire graphic novel, the Hulk remains in Hulk form. And he talks quite a lot, and he's Green Hulk. And as I was reading, I was kind of wondering, what's happening here? And it got to the point where it bothered me so much, I had to Google it again to see exactly why, he's still in Hulk form and so intelligent. And it's because of the environment that he's in. Banner knows that he'd be safer in Hulk form, so he kind of gives Hulk full reign.
Makes sense.
And he also gives Hulk a portion of the intelligence that he can use.
And if I'm not mistaken, Sakaar was a planet where, battle, strength, these things were held in high value. These things were what mattered to these people, right? And so anything small and weak like Bruce Banner would have been frowned and even casted out, right? So, am I getting it right?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, so this is definitely a planet meant for the Hulk, not for Banner at all.
Cool.
And
yay, cohabitation.
Yeah. And the society there greatly, it was really similar to the Roman Empire, because they had the gladiator pits and all that, and people would come around and watch the fights and all that. And there was a dickhead emperor and all that. But to make a long story short here, the Hulk has to do battle in this movie. And, fight for his freedom, a la gladiator type deal.
Yeah, that's going to be so sick.
Yeah, separated, he really doesn't get his freedom, but he has to, he's not granted his freedom, but the Hulk gets his freedom eventually. I don't want to give away too much in the story because it is an awesome story to read on your own time. I don't imagine that Thor Ragnarok is gonna use a lot of the story in the movie, but I think the gladiator pit is probably going to be the one big scene that's taken from Planet Hulk and used in the movie.
Actually, something I wanted to expound upon that right quick before we stop or anything. Excuse
George
me.
from the Rampage movie.
I kind of agree that they're not going to count or pull too much from the original Planet Hulk comic on that. I mean, for instance, question I wanted to ask. Thor wasn't even in that comic at all, right?
Nope.
So this is a really interesting, creative thing we're getting here. Thor Ragnarok.
Actually, just a funny side note, now that you mention it, Thor technically was in the comic.
Really?
There's a scene where there's a portion of the comic where Hulk, he's forced to team up with like a group of other aliens, and they all fight for their survival to try to overcome this empire. Some of them are strong, some of them are really weak.
Okay.
There's a bug character called Miek, and he's pretty weak, but he's also kind of hilarious.
Okay.
Anyways, there's a rock creature that he teams up with as well. His name is Korg. He's kind of similar to the Thing, but he looks different, but you know, similar properties and whatnot, similar strength and attributes. And at one point after a battle, they all go back to like their little battle pits, and they're all telling war stories. And Korg, the rock creature, tells the story of the time that he and his brother and it goes into flashback mode here, and it goes, you know, me and my brother, and we were encountered by this alien creature. It looked like one from the planet that you described, Hulk, looked like a human, I would think. It said we soon discovered that this human wasn't human at all. He was a god. And it was Thor, and Thor just kind of kicked all their asses, and so it's just kind of a funny story that they told. Yeah.
I wonder if we'll see any awesome Easter egg like that.
I don't know.
Like he's telling the story, and then Thor behind him is right there, and it's like, oh shit, it's him. You know, just some comic relief. All right, interesting.
Yeah.
So it's very safe to say, in other words, going back to the point you were making, that no, this is not going to be very much like the Planet Hulk comic. It's going to be, of course, what the movies have been so good at doing. It's entire different story.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, I think they're gonna adapt pieces here and there, whatever suits their needs the most. Yeah. And one thing though about about Planet Hulk and the Ragnarok series as a whole, though, is that I really do hope that they embody this gladiatorial combat sense, because that was such a heavy concept in the graphic novel. And
I'm gonna try to finish this.
Comic readers who are listening, it does deserve its own movie. I can completely agree. But this is the best thing we're gonna get. So we should probably, we should probably just.
So, be on the lookout for it. And also, I will be doing a video sometime. Either if I have time today, I can do it. If not, I'm gonna shoot my next video tomorrow. It's about a challenge that I have discovered, but I don't want to give you too much of it yet, so you have to look at the video once it's uploaded on my YouTube channel. Alright, so like I said, I'm gonna finish this myself, get the background in, and then get it colored, and then it'll be uploaded everywhere. On my social media is listed down below. And if you haven't noticed already, I do have a Discord, so be sure you go to it. The link is in the description below, and find me there, and then we can all chat. Alright, so I'm gonna cut the stream right now, so thank you very much for watching, and remember, keep on drawing, because practice makes perfect. So, until the next stream, thank you for watching, and take care.